Now, live via satellite from the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute's Houston Fieldhouse in Troy, New York, beamed over 22,000 miles into space to the Galaxy 4 satellite, we bring you all the action and excitement of the Big Red Freakout as the Rensselaer engineers take on the University of Vermont Catamounts. Now, here's your host, Ed Day, Rensselaer class of '65.
Good evening and welcome to the Houston Fieldhouse in Troy for what should be a wild night. The 17th annual RPI Freakout, 5,200 plus fans jamming the stands, each one armed with tonight's toy, a sort of adult rattle, a noisemaker, not the type that used to be given out here years ago, the type that changed the rules in NCAA hockey and imposed restrictions for the first time on noisemakers. We're here in the Fieldhouse. We're going to bring you tonight's telecast, a critically important game for both teams. RPI leading Vermont, now in sole possession of third place, but leading the Vermont Catamounts by just 2 points. Let's bring in Jim Brennan, who will be doing the play-by-play tonight, and I hope you're warmed up because this is going to be some game.
Well, it should be exciting. If both teams are playing well, both teams have a lot of quick forwards skating up and down the ice. RPI's got a decent-sized ice service, 200 by 85. A lot of room for these guys to run, so it should be a lot of fun.
It was a flat-out tie in Vermont, so these are competitive teams.
That's right. RPI had a 2-goal lead entering the third period up at Gutterson Fieldhouse 2 weeks ago. The Catamounts came back to tie it, so RPI looking for a little revenge. Vermont on a bit of a streak. They're unbeaten in their last 5.
Why don't you give us the lineups?
All right, let's take a look at the RPI engineers who'll be dressing tonight.
Here are the left wings. A junior from East Lansing, Michigan, number 9, Jeff Brick. A senior from Gloucester, Ontario, number 15, Ron Pascoe. A sophomore from Renfrew, Ontario, number 23, Jeff O'Connor. And a senior from Bon Shaw, Prince Edward Island, number 16, Jeff Gabriel. The Rensselaer centers. A sophomore from Pontclair, Quebec, number 19, Brian Richardson. A junior from Calgary, Alberta, number 10, Kelly Askew. A junior from Bryson, Quebec, number 14, Craig Hamlin. A senior from Fernie, British Columbia, number 11, Xavier Magic. And here are the Rensselaer right wings. A sophomore from Dorchester, Massachusetts, number 27, Tim Regan. A junior from Westfield, Massachusetts, number 24, Jeff Matthews. A junior from Castleton, Ontario, number 17, Wayne Clark. And a junior from Pekin, Illinois, number 12, Eric Perardi. The Rensselaer left defenseman, number 4, a senior from Beaconsville, Quebec, Brad Lazelle. A sophomore from Saint Martin, Quebec, number 21, Patrick Rochon. And a senior from Mississauga, Ontario, number 2, Cam Cuthbert. At right defense, a junior from Buffalo, number 20, Adam Bartell. A sophomore from Norfolk, Massachusetts, number 5, John Perrong. A sophomore from Hingham, Massachusetts, number 22, Chris Kiley. The goaltenders, a senior from Medicine Hat, Alberta, number 1, Neil Little. And a sophomore from King City, Ontario, number 30, Mike Tamburo.
The key for RPI, probably Neil Little, the Hobie Baker candidate, who in this building essentially beat Harvard single-handed. Vermont, fast team.
Vermont's got a couple of quick forwards. We're going to meet them here in just a second. 2 of them, they grew up together in Laval, Quebec. Eric Perrin and his right wing, Martin St. Louis. They're going to be exciting. They're having good seasons. One, the leading scorer on the team. Perrin, the leading goal scorer among freshmen in the country. So let's take a look and meet the Vermont Catamounts dressing tonight.
The left wings, a junior from Sherborne, Massachusetts, number 21, Rob Pattison. A junior from Hamden, Connecticut, number 15, Brian Letty. A sophomore from Gaspe, Quebec, number 22, Dale Patterson. And a senior from Williston, Vermont, number 23, Travis Lahoulier. The Catamounts center iceman, number 17, a junior from Joliet, Quebec, Dominique Duchard. Number 26 is a sophomore from Millis, Massachusetts, Matt Johnson. A freshman from Laval, Quebec, number 10, Eric Perrin. And a freshman from Boston Lake, New York, number 12, J.C. Ruide. The right wings are a senior from Warwick, Quebec, number 27, Nicholas Perot. A junior from Norwalk, Massachusetts, number 9, Bill Lincoln. A freshman from Laval, Quebec, number 8, Martin St. Louis. And a senior from Rome, New York, number 14, Corey Mechanic. The Catamount left defenseman, a junior from Richfield, Minnesota, number 24, Jason Williams. A freshman from Branchville, New Jersey, number 6, Eric Hallman. A freshman from Branchville, New Jersey, number 3, Jonathan Sorg. And the Catamount right defense. Number 2, a junior from Rutland, Vermont, Mike Larkin. Number 4 is a sophomore from Lennoxville, Quebec, Steve McKell. And a freshman from Prague, Czechoslovakia, number 25, Pavel Navrat. And the Vermont goaltender, a freshman from Davison, Michigan, number 32, Tim Thomas.
I want to welcome Vermont alumni who are at the centers all around the country as well. 2 terrific schools, 2 great hockey teams tonight, and a rivalry that goes back a lot of years. To welcome you to the center more officially, here's the UVM president, Tom Salmon.
Good evening from Gutterson Fieldhouse at the University of Vermont, and welcome to Catamounts hockey once again. We welcome alumni, parents, and friends in 40 cities worldwide to this special broadcast. You can see that Gutterson's quiet behind us, the new Gutterson, much expanded Gutterson. And while you're celebrating in Troy, all the Cats fans are gathered around the television in San Diego, in Seattle, in Boston, even down Shelburne Road in Burlington. I'm Dave Wellborn, Vice President. With me is President Tom Salmon, a former skater. Safe to say that we both talk better than we skate these days. Great deal of celebration on campus this winter, Tom.
Oh, you better believe it. UVM is on the move. We've just completed a $100 million capital campaign to fuel our programs and our scholarship and to build some very critical buildings. And we're moving forward very, very aggressively.
One of the fruits of the campaign is the new Gutterson, new research facilities on campus, and coming out of a new biological research facility, Stafford Hall, is a discovery that you've all seen on television and read about in the newspapers.
Yes, Dr. Rick Fischel, operating in his laboratory in Stafford Hall, has discovered or co-discovered a flawed gene which will help educate America on ways and means to deal more aggressively with colon cancer, and through this discovery, ultimately, perhaps to help lay the foundation for a cure to this dreadful disease.
Well, it's a frosty night in Burlington this evening. Think back to summertime and Bill Clinton's summer reading list. His favorite book was a UVM production.
That's right. Thomas Jefferson, A Life, by Willard Stern Randall, professor of history at University of Vermont. Will Randall has now had 2 books nominated for a Pulitzer. Read Thomas Jefferson, A Life. You'll like it.
The president will mail you your quiz next week. Back to the celebrations. Over the next 2 weeks, you'll be watching the Olympics on television, and do so in the knowledge that there are more UVM athletes representing America in the Winter Games from Lillehammer than from any other American university. Celebrations on campus. Enjoy the game. Sit back. Cheer for a Cats victory. Go Cats, go.
Hear, hear.
Okay, thank you, guys. We will attempt to be unbiased because I know that at satellite sites around the country there are both alumni groups. Let's tell you more about how many sites there are and take a look at one in particular, the satellites around the country.
Now let's check in at the Big Red Freakout alumni gatherings around the country. Everyone's having fun at Champions in the Washington, D.C. area and at the University Sports Bar and Grill in Seattle, Washington. We've heard it's a real fun-loving group at Hafner's Restaurant and Tavern in Syracuse and at Legends in Norfolk, Virginia. One thing that's for sure, it's a lot warmer outside Durante's Sports Bar in San Diego and in Puerto Rico at the Banco Popular Training Center. People are enjoying catching up on old times at Fours Boston in Beantown and in the heart of Catamount territory at Bambino's Sports Bar and Restaurant in Burlington, Vermont. Our friends at Bailey's Sports Bar and Grill in Charlotte, North Carolina and the Post Office Cafe in Long Island all report to be having a great time. And from the home of the world champion Dallas Cowboys, we want to say howdy to all our friends at the Ultimate Sports Grill in Dallas. And a little closer to Rensselaer, everyone's enjoying Ice House festivities at the Hefner Alumni House here in Troy.
Terrific night here. I was talking to Rich Scammell, who used to skate for RPI, now a scout for the Canadiens, telling me that the Canadiens have the rights to Brad Lazell, a defenseman you'll see on the ice for RPI tonight. Earlier this evening, I had a chance to talk to Brad Lazell and to his coach, RPI coach, Buddy Powers. Here's what they said about tonight's game.
Well, I think in Vermont we're playing one of the hottest teams in the league right now, and we had a great game with them a couple of weeks ago up in Vermont, and ended in a 4-4 tie. And I'm sure they're going to come in here tonight and be expecting to win, because they kind of play into our type of game. They have some extremely quick forwards, So we're expecting a game that's going to go up and down, a great pace for the big crowd, so it should be real exciting.
UVM's a good team. They work really hard, they hit hard. It's going to be a really emotional game. Everyone's going to be flying. A lot of end-to-end play, a lot of hard hits, and a lot of emotion.
A lot of emotion indeed, if for no other reason, 5,200 people packing the stands. Al Shibley's a former sports information director at RPI. Now you do color for the radio broadcast. This ought to be a terrific game.
This is going to be a great game, Ed. You got, as you mentioned, two great teams with great speed. They match up very well, two good goaltenders. Whoever's hot in goal, I think, is going to determine the winner of this game.
Well, you and I watched Neil Little beat Harvard almost single-handedly here.
Exactly right, and Tim Thomas has the capability of doing that for Vermont, so I think it's going to be a goaltender's matchup.
What about the intimidation factor? I have seen teams get freaked out by the freak out.
Yeah, but there's a couple of guys with some experience on that Vermont team, and as you know, they play before 4,000 or 5,000 people every night up there, too, so I don't think it's a factor.
I'm really looking forward to a great game.
I am, too.
Thank you, Al. Also here tonight is the former Vermont coach, Jim Cross, who, come on in, Jim. Jim has retired, but is down tonight to do color for the Vermont broadcast. Who's going to win?
Well, I don't know. It's going to be a great game, though. Vermont almost is in a must-win situation. I think they hoped to get that game last night, and now they're going to be playing after this weekend. They're going to be playing all the top teams, so they want to get out of here with at least a tie tonight to give them 2 points on the weekend.
The game in Vermont, RPI dominated 2 periods, and then as a reporter was telling me, a newspaper reporter, he's never seen such speed of Vermont in that 3rd period.
Well, they turned it on, and I think Mike Gilligan would like to say, well, why don't they do that all the time? They're a young team. They haven't been consistent. They've had difficulties playing with a lead. That's probably been their weakest point. But they've got a lot of talent, and they've got speed.
Great game. Thank you, Coach. Good luck. Good luck with the telecast. Talked to the assistant coach today from Vermont, Roger Grillo, also Jason Williams, one of the players on the ice tonight. Here's what they think about the game.
We played at the Big Red Freakout before, and they can get pretty wild over there. But our kids actually this year, for the first year, kind of enjoy playing in front of a volatile crowd. They enjoy it. It gets them pumped up. It gives them something, some motivation to play against a tough team.
We just have to go out and put it out of our minds and try to keep RPI out of the game, and that'll keep the crowd out of the game. And if we do that, we'll be all set. I just want to say hi to everybody back at the scoreboard bar. How you doing?
Jim Brennan mentioned earlier that the last telecast he and I did was the championship game, or the team that would go on to win it. Center iceman for that team was Adam Oates, now a star with the Boston Bruins. On the wing with him now, Joey Juneau. 2 terrific players out of RPI, now playing on a terrific team. Here's more about Joey Juneau. Do you remember how demanding your first semester at Rensselaer was? Well, imagine if you couldn't speak any English, you wanted the engineering curriculum, and you wanted to play hockey. Well, that was Joe Juneau's story.
It wasn't easy at all, especially when you get there and you don't speak English. There was some hard times, especially the first 2 or 3 months.
It seems no challenge is too big for Joe. He graduated from Rensselaer in 3 years with a BS diploma in aeronautical engineering in one hand and a big NHL contract in the other. What drives him to be such an achiever?
In my situation, it's like every time I set up goals, I want to achieve them so bad that I get there. And I always set up goals and try to achieve them. And it's not only on the ice, it's also off the ice, in school, and everything else.
He's quick to credit present RPI coach Buddy Powers with being a driving force in his career.
It's like my career there turned around when Buddy Powers came along, and things went just great after that. Just give me the chance to do whatever I want out there and just show my stuff, you know. And I mean, I think that's when I really kicked it in and then showed that I was going to be an NHL player one day.
I love to play an up-tempo attacking type game if you have the types of players that can do that. And Bill was of the opinion that, you know, Joe could flourish in that type of game, and that might be the thing that would help him come out. So when I met Joe, I just said to him that when you have the puck, Joe, you just play. I'm not going to tell you what to do with it. You're a talented individual. Read and react to the situations on the ice. And that just kind of gave him, I think, the push to just go be himself. And he certainly made a lot of things happen in his last 2 years in college hockey.
Today, Joe plays for the Boston Bruins with former Rensselaer star player Adam Oates.
the magic that can go on the ice between those guys is something that you can't do in college because you don't have that type of talent. And so that, to me, is why Joe is even flourishing more right now, is that the good players, they all get on that next level together, and the movement and the passing is just tremendous, and that's his game.
Many young hockey players dream of the chance to play professional hockey for the big contracts and the notoriety, but this young man is wise beyond his years and keeps it all in perspective.
You gotta admit that it's not always fun like the way it was when you're a kid. You go out and play in the street because it's fun. You go to the rink and play because it's fun. Now it's your work, you know. It's not the same, you know. But you gotta work hard and prepare yourself and try to come here and have fun, you know.
But Joe hasn't forgotten that he had a lot of fun playing in the Big Red Freakout games at Rensselaer.
The fans are coming, you know, with their face reds and stuff like that. Everybody wears red. It's kind of such a great atmosphere to play. I mean, you don't even have to get ready for the game. I mean, as soon as you step on the ice, it's there. I mean, even though you just went to school all week and didn't even think about the game, when you jump on the ice, it's just an atmosphere, like I just said. It just makes you play.
Joey Juneau of the Boston Bruins. We have a feature coming up later on Adam Oates, the center iceman for the Bruins, who feeds Juneau so brilliantly. We can't get, of course, to all the satellite sites around the country, but we want to take you where we can go pretty easily. That's down to the Hefner Alumni House. Dan Levy standing by. Dan, what's going on?
Go red! The partying begins long before the puck drops, not just in the Fieldhouse parking lot, but inside the Alumni House down the street.
Beat 'em, bust 'em, that's our custom. Hit him in the head with a brick.
More than 300 friends, guests, and relatives of RPI alumnus are here. This alum traveled from Houston, Texas to see his alma mater play at Houston Fieldhouse.
I haven't seen a hockey game in a long time, so looking forward to it.
Others spent the time putting on their game faces. Yeah, explain to me why someone would go to this extreme.
Well, it's called class spirit.
While Coach Buddy Powers is shuffling his lines in and out of the game, the popular place to be here at the Alumni House is the food line. Ed, I'm sure we'll see you here after the game. I'm Dan Levy at the Big Red Freakout. Back to you, Ed.
Thank you, Dan. I'll be really surprised if the next guy has his face painted. Here to officially welcome you, the new president of RPI, Byron Pipes.
Good evening. I'm Byron Pipes, president of Rensselaer, and I'm delighted to welcome you to the Houston Fieldhouse, where the engineers of RPI are getting ready to battle the Catamounts of the University of Vermont. Tonight, this grand arena will be filled to the catwalks with what we call the Big Red Freakout. It's been going on here for 17 years, and like nothing else, it shows our absolutely unrestrained enthusiasm for hockey at Rensselaer. President Salmon of the University of Vermont and I are thrilled that you can join your fellow alumni and friends in 34 cities from Seattle to San Juan and be part of this wonderful event.
Thank you, President Pipes. This is an incredible event, and the RPI alumni certainly know this. Taya Zeke's president of the union. If we got time, let's at least meet Taya. I know we're getting tight here toward the game. This is your fourth freakout.
This is actually my third freakout in the stadium, but it is my fourth year here at Rensselaer. It's very exciting.
You mean you missed a freakout somewhere?
My sophomore year, I was studying for an exam.
Okay. Likely story. It is exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's probably the biggest thing that all Rensselaer students gather around throughout the whole year is the freakout. It starts with the hockey line at the beginning of the year, and it ends with freakout, and then hopefully the national championship.
A little more intense this year, do you think, because it's UVM, a traditional rival?
I think everybody looks forward to it.
Who's going to win?
RPI.
Okay, thank you. Taya Zeke, the president of the union. We're going to have some events coming up through the telecast tonight. Adam Oates and John Carter will be telling you about. We started a trivia quiz. I'll tell you, I did the questions and the answers. I got maybe one right in the whole thing. They're tough, but you can play along with this. Somebody tell me where I'm supposed to go next. This is kind of seat of your pants television. Up to Jim Brennan. Jim Brennan high in the cage above the ice. play-by-play time, game about to begin, but stay with us. I'll be back between periods with features and interviews and trivia quiz. And enjoy the game. I'll stay impartial if I can. Jim Brennan.
Thanks very much, Ed Daig, and welcome again, everyone, to the Houston Fieldhouse, scene of the 1994 Big Red Freakout. I'm joined here in the booth with Al Shibley, the former sports information director at Rensselaer, and Jim Cross, former Vermont coach. You met them earlier. And gentlemen, we've heard a lot about these two teams and the quickness of their forwards, particularly. Alan mentioned downstairs that he thought it might come down to a battle of the goaltenders, Tim Thomas against Neil Little. Jim Cross, what do you think? Is the speed of the two teams going to be the telling factor?
Well, you know, when there's so much emotion in a game like this, it's their big game, freak-out night, and the players do have speed. Sometimes the games tend to get away from the coaches. In other words, the coaches like close-checking games. But the intensity here, the electricity in the air, we could have a high-scoring game, and it could be a goaltender's game.
Very important game for both clubs, of course. Now just after tonight, 3 weekends to go in the ECAC regular season schedule. Teams positioning themselves. RPI, of course, still with a shot at winning the regular season championship. They begin play tonight 4 points behind first place Harvard, 2 points behind second place Brown. Vermont's been on a bit of a roll. They're unbeaten in their last 5, 3 wins and 2 ties. One of the ties against Rensselaer a couple of weeks ago back in Burlington, and the second one last night a few miles from here at Union College in Schenectady. So a big game for both clubs.
Well, I think Vermont feels that they've got to win this game. They had a sweep last weekend, and they don't want to come on this weekend with only 1 point. I think the game that got away was last night, not to take nothing away from Union, but I think that was one they felt they had to have going to the RPI game. So I think they've got their backs against the wall.
And, of course, the Catamounts positioning themselves for playoff like RPI is as well.
Looking for a shot at a division championship, and the only way they're going to do that is to beat the good teams. They've still got road games against Harvard and Brown, so a loss tonight would be just about devastating in their chance for a championship.
Well, the crowd will be loud and it will be red, and right now it's a lot of both as the RPI Engineers take the ice first, followed seconds later by the Catamounts of Vermont, led out by their goaltender, the freshman from Michigan, Tim Thomas, a 3-time Rookie of the Week thus far in the ECAC season. He is a good one, and we mentioned at the very top of the broadcast about the 2 freshman forwards from Laval, Quebec of the Catamounts, the center Eric Perrin and his right wing Martin St. Louis, a couple of real good ones.
Yeah, those 2 kids have a lot of finesse. They're not particularly big, but they can dazzle you with the puck, and they know each other very well. They've played with each other all through youth hockey and junior hockey, and they'll do a lot of things in the neutral zone as well as the offensive zone that'll, you just can't believe it, some of the things they've done for freshmen.
RPI, of course, playing well, too. They've won 9, lost only 1, tied 2 in their last 12. That one loss, a loss they probably would tell you they shouldn't have lost, the game against St. Lawrence a week ago last night. But nonetheless, the Engineers coming in playing fairly well.
They are playing very well, Jim, and I think that loss last week, they'll tell you, was a case of looking ahead to Clarkson, who they had in here the next night, and they turned around and defeated Clarkson. The Engineers playing particularly well up front, especially the line of Jeff Brick, Brian Richardson, and Timmy Regan. Those guys have been flying the last couple of weeks, and if they've got their skates under them tonight, I think you're going to see a great matchup with that Perrin line.
Well, we're still a couple of minutes away from the opening face-off, still to be announced, are the starting lineups to the Big Red Freakout crowd here. A full house at the Houston Fieldhouse, 5,217 seats are sold, and probably a few in the corners as well. So better than 5,200, and it will be a loud one. Right now we're going to take a look at the standings as we head into this game tonight. We mentioned Harvard atop of the pack at the ECAC with an 11-2-2 record, 24 points, 2 points ahead of the Brown Bears. As you see, in Rensselaer in 3rd place, undisputed possession of 3rd now, having broken the tie with Colgate last night. Colgate being beaten, Clarkson moving into 4th place, and you see the Catamounts currently 6th place. Of course, 10 make the playoffs in the new revised ECAC format. Right now the starting lineups being introduced. The Catamounts will start with their top line centered by Dominique Ducharme. He'll have Rob Pattison on the left wing and the senior Nicholas Perreault on the right. The back line will be Mike Larkin, the junior defenseman from Rutland, and he'll be paired with Jason Williams, a junior from Richfield, Minnesota. And of course, Tim Thomas, the freshman, will be in goal.
And Jim, part of the mystique of the Houston Fieldhouse introductions, the spotlights and the darkened crowd, it just adds to the atmosphere in this big game.
And there you see RPI's Hobie Baker candidate, the senior goaltender from Medicine Hat, Alberta. Neil Little just 42 saves away from the all-time Rensselaer record set by Don Cutts about 25 years ago. On one defense, number 4, the senior, Brad Lazell, and he'll be paired with Adam Bartell, the junior out of Buffalo. You see Adam Bartell,
starting at
number
left
20.
wing for RPI from Gloucester, Ontario, senior number 15, Ron Pasco.
The forward line being introduced, led by the captain, left winger, Rob Pasco.
Center, a junior out of Calgary.
Pasco, the senior from Gloucester, Ontario. Centerman on this line, Kelly Askew, junior from Calgary, Alberta. And on the right wing is the junior from Westfield, Massachusetts, Jeff Matthews, and the rest of the Rensselaer Engineers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before the start of tonight's Big Red Freakout game, the crowd rises, and we will join the RPI band with the playing of the national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
And now, the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, we're ready to go. Goaltender Tim Thomas moving into the Vermont pipes down to our left. He'll be defending the goal at the east end of the Houston Fieldhouse, down right in front of the RPI pep band. Neil Little will be down to the grandstand on the west side of the Fieldhouse. There you're looking at Tim Thomas. As we mentioned, he's the freshman from Davison, Michigan. 3.11 goals against average for Thomas, and there Neil Little coming into the game for the goals against this year of 3.38. And as we mentioned, just 42 saves away from setting the Rensselaer all-time record for saves by a goaltender.
And Jim, it'll be interesting to see if Buddy Powers decides to match up Kelly Askew or Xavier Magic against the parent line to try and shut them down.
Well, you know more about Buddy's coaching than I do. A lot of college coaches don't buy into that scene. I don't know whether he does or not, but it might be a good tactic.
Has that been tried by other teams?
I don't think so. No, I see when you've got your scoring line is down third, it kind of throws things off a little bit.
Well, here we go. It's going to be Ducharme against Askew. And the puck controlled by Ducharme at center ice. It's off an Rensselaer skate, rolls to Little, and he sweeps it aside. Lazell off of Askew's stick. Vermont keeps it in. Big heavy hit there. The puck rolls into Little, and he'll cover up. Heavy hit by Lazell on Rob Pattison. And the puck rolled free to Little. He covered up. Face-off will be in the circle to his left. Opening minute of play. RPI with Askew. Centering Pasco on the left, Matthews on the right, Lazell, Bartel the blue line. Ducharme to draw against Askew. And Lazell will play it in the corner and sweep behind the net. Centered by Vermont and knocked out of the zone. And here comes Pasco down the right wing. Makes a move around Williams, and the puck rolls into Thomas. He stops, rebound shot saved by Thomas. He sweeps it aside. Shot blocked by the defense in front of Thomas. Loose puck behind the net, and now Williams plays it off the boards to Pattison, and he gets it out for the Catamounts. Good pressure by RPI there, 3 tough chances. Askew had the best shot of the 3, and Thomas turned him away. Lazell off the boards out to center ice. It gets by Pasco and rolls into the zone. And a back-checking Matt Johnson plays it for the Catamounts. They dump it in. And now it's thrown in front where it's intercepted by Bartel in front of the goal, and he plays it out. Regan takes a hit from Letty, and then Regan upended again, and the puck rolls down into the RPI end where Little will play it and leave for Bartel, and we get a whistle, and they'll bring it back.
Al, that might be the hardest hitting line UVM has had in a number of years. They don't have a lot of points, but they have great defensive players, and they love to hit.
That's Matt Johnson with Brian Letty and Bill Lincoln. And Timmy Regan felt 2 of those hits. One from Letty, and then another one from Johnson. RPI changes up now. Xavier Magic coming out with Perardi and O'Connor. And they've got Perron and Rashawn on the wings. And the Perron line is out for the Catamounts. Perron against Magic to the right of Thomas. Loose in front of the goal and swept aside by Thomas. Perardi dumps it into the corner, chases after it, takes a hit from Sword. And the puck sweeps around now behind the Catamount goal. Knocked to center. John Perron plays it back in off a Vermont player, back out to center. And now Perron carries in. For Magic, his shot blocked by the defense in front. Loose puck in front. Perron couldn't tee it up. Now into the corner, O'Connor chases down for RPI. Sorg plays it for the Catamounts. Up along the boards and out. Swept back in by RPI, back out. Now John Perron goes to the line, holds, waits for RPI to get onside and flips it in. At the left point, Cuthbert keeps it in, fires on goal. Thomas makes the glove hand save and holds on. We played 2 minutes, no score. The chances have all been RPIs thus far. Tim Thomas called upon to make about 5 saves.
And Engineer fans have seen this kind of scenario all year long, Jim, where the Engineers will dominate the first 5 minutes of a home game, not be able to beat the visiting goaltender, and then find themselves in a scrap after that.
Well, that is typical. The home team generally starts out fast, and if they don't get the reward, sometimes they slack off.
Hamlin wins the draw. Cuthbert's shot from the point is blocked by the defense in front. J.C. Ruid plays it out for Catamounts. Through center. Now into the RPI zone. Lavoie knocks it into the corner, chases after it, but Cuthbert beats him to the puck and wraps it around the boards. Gabriel plays it along the wing for RPI and Tates through center. Head to Hamlin, but good back checking by Vermont. They sweep it back into the RPI end where Chris Kiley will run it down. J.C. Ruid centers. Back checking by Hamlin, though, intercepting in front of goaltender Neil Little. Wayne Clark battling at center ice. Now into the Vermont zone. Loose along the far boards. And it comes out. Clark has it. RPI will have to clear the zone. Chris Kiley knocks it up to center. It's intercepted by Lavoie. And now taken back by Hamlin. Cross-ice pass to Clark. Just over his stick. He's got to play it off the boards. Now he takes a hit from Larkin. J.C. Ruiz plays it ahead to Lavoie. Lavoie comes out with Ducharme. Lavoie dumps it in. Vermont changes up. Lazell plays the glass, but not out. Kept in at the point by Ducharme. He fires it into the opposite corner. And now finally RPI gets it out. But immediately set back in. And now through center. Flipped in all the way down. Thomas plays it. There's O'Connor, or Matthews rather. Out to the right point, Lazell. He fires, deflected wide of the net. Bartel keeps it in at the left point. And Eric Lavoie for Vermont gets it through center ice. Being back checked by Pasco. Takes a hit from Bartel. And RPI regains control. Now Vermont has it again. They dump it in behind Neil Little. Lazell being bothered by Pattison. Rather by Perot, that was. And now up along the near boards. Out to center to Matthews. Cross ice to Askew. Askew takes a hit from McKell. One-timer from the right point by Bartel. Snagged by Matthews. He holds on. We played about 4.5 minutes. No score. Most of the play has been in the Vermont end.
And most of the shots have been from the perimeter. The Engineers haven't been able to get in for the grade A type shots.
No, they have disrupted them enough, but you're right, they haven't got anything in close. But you know, RPI seems to be shaking their right wing wide. He's twice that time you saw the left defenseman Vermont kind of panic to get back. They've got to watch that wide wing.
Jonathan Sohr carries behind his own net. Flips to center to Letty. Letty carries into the zone, has it knocked away, however. Brian Richardson. And now John Perrong for RPI. Perrong takes a hit from behind the net by Matt Johnson. Centered out in front. Vermont couldn't tee it up. Just fired wide by Letty. Letty had 2 shots on it. The second one just went wide of the far post. Here's Brick at center. Now Regan into the Catamount zone. Leaves for the shot from Roshan wide of the net. And here comes Vermont through center. One man back. Johnson bumped off the play by Perrong as the puck goes to an empty wing. Heavy hit by Regan, on Regan by Larkin. And now RPI fires it in.
Larkin's probably the most aggressive defenseman they have.
Loose puck in front of the RPI bench. Richardson carries it in. Kept in by Cuthbert. His drive, pad save by Thomas. And Larkin plays it behind his net. Cuthbert pinches but can't keep it in, but the Engineers do at the blue line. Now it's wrapped in behind the net. Eric Hallman plays it for Vermont. To Perron. Now ahead to Pattison. Down the left wing side. Wines fires, tipped wide by the defense. O'Connor plays the long rebound and sweeps to center. All the way down. Icing called. Face off to come back into the RPI zone. 14:06 remaining first period. No score.
Jim, I think you mentioned the first 5 minutes is the time that the home team usually has the adrenaline and they'll get the advantage. We're through that first period of the game right now, and now it's a time where you might look for Vermont to step it up and take control.
Well, the whole thing is when you're on the road, you like to try to weather those first 5 or 6 minutes and then maybe take the crowd out of the game and play from there. So I think at this point, Vermont's pretty happy the way things have gone.
Phil Eberle between J.C. Ruiz and Eric Lavoie against RPI's Hamlin line. Engineers control the draw, and Clark knocks it to center. Flipped in by Gabriel. But Lavoie plays it for Vermont. Cuthbert keeps it in at the line. Now Vermont clears in the puck loose at center. Kiley dumps it in, takes a hit from Eberle. Lavoie uses a nice pass off the boards, gets it ahead. Down the right side, Wines fires, pad save by Little.
Little just took the angle away from him, didn't give him anything to shoot at.
Good move by Eberle, the best chance for Vermont thus far. But Little, as you said, cut down the angle and made his toughest save to date. 13:29 left, first period. We'll take a look at it. This is Eberle skating untouched through center. Now, by this point, he's down to the spot. Winds and fires. And way out of the net is Neil Little.
As you mentioned, Jim, there he is out at the bottom of the faceoff circle, and that's what Neil has learned over the course of his career here at RPI. He used to be a lay-back kind of goaltender. Now he comes out and challenges the shooters.
Well, you know, when you're out there, they're going to hit you or go wide unless they break it through. So it's a smart goaltender who plays his angles well.
RPI controls the draw again and has it deep in the Vermont end. Perot bangs it to center. Lazelle fans on his shot, pass. And now the loose puck is knocked back into the Vermont end. Chased down by Steve McKell. Perot with a pass off the boards to center. Ahead to Pattison. Pattison moves around Bartel. Now ridden off the play nicely, Bartel, who takes away the puck. He flips it up to an empty wing. Sword keeps it in. Walks into the spot. Centering pass rolls right through the crease. Nobody there. That almost looked like a slow motion play as that puck rolled through center. And now we get a whistle, and we're going to have a face-off outside the zone as the puck was played with a high stick.
And everything looks a little slower up here, but when you're down there, it isn't so slow.
You know, there's one particular hockey game that changed the direction of former RPI great and current Boston Bruin Adam Oates' life forever. You can find out by staying with us in the first intermission. 12:46 to go, first period. Johnson against Richardson on the draw. Vermont wins it and drives it in. Rochon back to play it for the Engineers behind his net, and he'll wheel it right up center. Almost has it taken away, but gets it back on the right wing to Regan. Regan carries in, deep into the corner, now behind the net. Leaves the puck there. Larkin plays it for Vermont. He bangs it out to center, where John Perron knocks it back into the Vermont zone. Hallman chases it down for Vermont. And finally knocked to center by the Catamounts. RPI plays it right back in. RPI put a lot of pressure on early. The game seems to have slowed down just a little bit here in the last couple of minutes. Letty took a heavy hit, looked for a call, didn't get it. That was part of the crowd reaction. Now Letty with the puck, and he just flips it in. Takes another high hit from Richardson. Little sweeps it around the boards. Intended for Brick, but intercepted by Vermont. And the Catamounts control. Right point, Larkin tees it up, drives, stopped by Little with the right pad. Thrown to center ice by Perardi, off an RPI stick and down into the Vermont zone. We're going to get a whistle and a penalty call as Larkin just took down RPI's Eric Perardi. And we'll get to see the RPI power play for the first time. Larkin going out for a hold. Actually, it was a clothesline coming at 8:32 of the opening period.
Well, Larkin does get a lot of penalties. That was no doubt about that one.
And the Engineer power play converting at a 28% rate this year. It's been pretty effective, particularly lately. Buddy Powers at times has been playing 5 forwards on his power play, and it looks like he'll do that tonight. Starting out with Askew and Magic on the point. Hamlin will center Wayne Clark and senior captain Ronnie Pasco up front. So this will have a 5 forwards with a lot of skill out there trying to convert on this power play for the Engineers.
Martin San Luis, one of the penalty killers, a shot from Askew is just wide of the net, and the puck cleared all the way down. Will set up the Vermont penalty killers. They've got San Luis and Letty up front, Jason Williams and Steve McKell on the blue line.
Vermont's at a little disadvantage because LaHoulier is out. He's one of their best penalty killers.
Hamlin leads for Pasco. Centers back to Hamlin to
and that goal will come at 8:57. We'll take another look at that as it came quickly.
Beautiful passing play from Hamlin to Pasco, and a nice drop pass to Clark coming down the right side. And you see him just flip it up over the glove hand side of Tim Thomas. The power play goal for RPI's leading goal scorer, Wayne Clark. That's his 19th of the year.
And that, Jim, is his 9th goal in his last 6 games as he's just been red hot for the Engineers.
Well, that was perfectly executed. The passing was sensational, and then the put away. You know, you can make a lot of great plays, but you need some guy to finish it off, and he did it.
And at 8:57 of the first period, the Engineers draw first blood. They'll take the lead 1-0 on that power play goal. And Jimmy made a good point. That's something that Buddy Powers was having some difficulty with earlier in the year. His team just wasn't putting away those chances.
Yeah, well, lots of times, you know, you do everything right, but then the trigger man can't put it away. That's two things. The goaltender might have something to do with it, and then you might be a little tight, or maybe you're not a goal scorer. But some people get in there and they have that knack, and he didn't wait. He triggered it off right away. It just touched his stick and it was gone.
RPI special teams come into the game tonight with a plus 17 in terms of their power play and shorthanded goals scored versus those allowed, 17 more than their opponents. So they've been able to make do on the special teams this year. It stood them in good stead, and it's got them the early lead tonight. We've obviously got a delay. Some things were thrown onto the ice after the goal, and hopefully that'll be a one-timer this evening.
Well, we never got I didn't get to see it. Did we see a replay of Larkin's penalty? Because it really wasn't a good penalty.
It was actually off the puck quite a bit, Jim. You're right, and he just clotheslined the RPI forward and hauled him to the ice, and there's really no apparent reason.
Yeah, they had both been chasing the puck toward the back boards, but the puck had bounced out past them, and they were just finishing their skate into the boards when Larkin put out the arm and caught Ferrari around the neck and brought him down. We'll take a look at it now. Here it comes.
Now, you see way over here, there's really no need to take a penalty here.
It's in behind the play there. You see near the goal.
He's not involved at all. And the other thing is that a smart player who gets involved with that, he's going to help it a little bit by taking a little dive, and just not a good thing. You don't want to give an early goal like that for a needless penalty.
8:57 the time. The power play goal by Wayne Clark, his 19th goal of the year, and RPI has the 1-0 lead. Play back in now at center ice. Perot dumps it in. Little stops it to the side of the cage. Cuthbert sweeps it around the boards. And now Askew skates through center. Down the left wing. He winds, fires, stopped by Thomas. Bullet shot from Kelly Askew from just inside the line. Thomas came out, made a nice stop, caught the puck in the top of the left pad.
That was a dangerous spot, too.
We'll take a look at it from behind the goal. Askew using the defenseman as a screen, but Thomas had his eye on it all the way.
Everybody talks about Kelly Askew's great speed and his ability to handle the puck, but he's also got a great shot.
Oh, that was a great shot, and he almost hit the 5-hole there.
Regan wins the draw. Perron winds, fires all the way into Thomas. He makes the save. Can't control the rebound, though. Goes into the corner. Richardson battling for it, and the puck loose behind the Vermont net. San Luis has it break off his stick. Ahead to Johnson. Johnson one-on-one with Perron. Now moves around to the circle. Shot off the top of the post. Now Little ties it up along the left post right in front. Looked to me like the shot hit the top corner of the goalpost.
Yeah, and hit the outside edge. Very close.
We're going to have matching penalties. Brian Richardson will go off for a slash for the Engineers. And I can't see the number.
So it's Bill Lincoln.
Bill Lincoln and Brian Richardson were jostling a little bit behind the RPI goal after the play. I think Richardson will go for slashing and Lincoln will go for roughing.
Take a look at it again. Here's the shot.
Yep, see it?
Yep, right off the outside part of the post.
And all this happened after the whistle. There's been a whistle now, and you'll see, okay.
Yeah, Lincoln kept digging at the puck, and Richardson took him out, and they both go off for
But
two.
Little did get a piece of that shot. I thought it hit the post directly. Yep. Yeah, see, this is all after the whistle. Yep.
Teams 4-on-4. Here's San Luis. His shot. Little kicks it aside and feeds it ahead to O'Connor. Right wing pass to Perardi. He carries in, flips it toward the goal. Doesn't get there. Goes to the back boards. Right in front. Magic can't tee it up. He was all alone in front and couldn't tee it up. Then finally fired it wide. Magic dumps it in. Larkin plays it. Takes a hit from O'Connor. Puck comes all the way out to center. Lazell has to chase it down. 9:49 to go, first period. RPI with the 1-0 lead on the power play goal by Wayne Clark. And the Vermont Catamounts. Perron. The right side to Patterson. He's bumped off the play, and here comes Magic the other way. He drives it into the corner, and we get a whistle, and offside on the right wing was Wayne Clark, so the faceoff will come outside, just outside the Vermont line.
Xavier Magic for the Engineers is in a tough stretch. You saw him sort of fan on that shot. I think he tried to hurry it up. He's been in about a 3-week slump where everything he shoots hits a goaltender or hits the pipe, or he'll look up like on that shot and just miss hit it.
Well, when that happens to a forward or anybody and they start pressing and they don't have the soft hands to make those kind of shots, what he needs is a goal or two to get his confidence, and he'll be right back in there. But once you start hitting some posts and hitting goalies, you feel staked a little bit, and then you press a little bit. You hold the stick a little tighter, you're just not as relaxed.
Here comes Jonathan Sorg. He dumps it in. Kiley plays it with the hand and now has to go back and get it. He takes a hit from Ruid. Wraparound try. It's blocked by Little. Loose puck in the circle, now goes behind the net. Lavoie, who missed on the wraparound, now has it. His shot blocked by Kiley. And it rolls out to center. Vermont dumps it in, but that's offside, a delayed offside call. RPI controlling the puck. Now they're out to center with it. Clark drives it into the left wing corner, and the chase is on. Cuthbert keeps it in, but puts it right on the stick of Ruid. Ahead to Eberle. Into the circle, goes around Kiley, centers. Ruid couldn't tee it up. Eberle fires it on goal. Little makes the stop, holds on as Ruid comes in, and we get a stop with 8:39 to go. J.C. Ruid, number 12 in green, a local boy, played about half the games for Vermont, a little more than half of the Vermont starts. He's from Boston Lake, went to Shenandoah High, about 15 miles from here. And Coach Mike Gilligan giving him the dress here for the trip back to his hometown last night. He got his second goal of the year last night at Union. I'm sure he'd love to get one here at the Houston Fieldhouse.
And you know, that was the fourth line out there for Vermont, and they probably had one of the better shifts of the first period for Vermont.
Perot off the draw fires it high and wide over Little's head. Kept in at the point by Patterson. And now Perron skates it out, but he's bumped off the play, and the loose puck at center is controlled by UVM. Williams to Patterson, who just backhands it in. It rolls weakly to Little, and he plays it. Still loose in the circle. Here's Perot. Centering pass goes all the way through to the wing. Heavy hit on Patterson as they go down. Patterson and the RPI player with him. The puck underneath. And we'll get a whistle to stop it. That's Patrick Rochon, the RPI defenseman, in a heap there with Rob Patterson, a pair of 21s.
Al, it looks like Vermont is up-tempo and it's forechecking a little bit. The last couple of shifts have had two men in deep, trying to put a little more pressure on, I think.
Yeah, most of the play has been down in the Vermont end, and as you know, you just can't survive that. You can't survive the constant pressure. They've got to do something to turn the puck over in the RPI zone and get an offensive opportunity.
And I think Eberle, Rued, and Lavoie went out there with the idea, hey, let's get it down that end and keep it in. They did a good job.
Johnson wins the draw, and Letty's shot off that draw is just wide of Little. Little flashed out the pad, but didn't get it. Now rebound just one wide of the net. Puck play back in by Vermont, but they were offside. RPI is going to have to. RPI has to play. Apparently, it wasn't offside.
Well, Al, that's a thing the referees never call. Vermont was back behind those face-off dots, and that should have been an intentional icing, but they never call it.
Centering pass by Richardson, stopped by Thomas, and the loose puck
that's
is
a hook. That's a hook.
Delayed penalty coming up as RPI is going to be a man short. Vermont getting the extra skater on. Here's Larkin to the line. He's being battled by Richardson, and finally RPI touches the puck.
And Jeff Brick got his stick up and hooked down the Vermont forward. That was at center ice right in front of both officials. You're not going to miss that call. And here you'll see him right here from behind. Will stick the stick into the midsection and then lift and take the Vermont player to the ice. And that's a pretty obvious hook call, as you said, Jim. So at 12:38, Vermont will go on their first power play of the evening.
You know, a unique tradition here at Rensselaer is what the students will do to get hockey tickets. And if you don't know, you can find out coming up in intermission, so be sure to stay with us. The Vermont power play unit on for the first time. Ducharme with St. Louis up front, along with Perot on the left side. Larkin will be at 1 point. And Mike Larkin skates it out now. Headmans to St. Louis, off his skate and into the zone. Drop pass for Perot, into the circle. Now Ducharme along the goal line. Larkin, right point, throws it toward the net, tips wide by Perot. Perot gets it, the loose puck behind the net, skates it out. Larkin fires it again, off Little's chest, loose puck in front, Little covers it up. Larkin hasn't taken hard shots from the right point, but he's just thrown it in front. We'll take a look at this one. This is just a wrister, and it gets all the way through. It hit Little in the chest. It bounces up in front of him.
Well, the thing, you know, sometimes people get to feel you have to hit it hard. He got it on the net. That's what he wants to do, hoping that somebody could tip it on the way in, or if there's a rebound, maybe somebody could get it coming out. So you really don't have to hit it hard. The main thing is to get it by that first guy that's coming at you and get it in on the goal.
Ducharme against Magic in the circle to the left of Little. Vermont controls. But Perrin loses it, and RPI knocks it to center, and it's driven back in. All the way around. Ducharme flips it behind the net. San Luis after it. Minute 10 to go in the Vermont power play. San Luis at the top of the circle. Wines, fires, glove save by Little. He goes down in a heap and holds on.
If we can get a look at that, it looks like it might have been a little bit wide, but Neil Little wanted to get the glove on that and stop play and get a face-off.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a glove stop. It might have been, it looked like it was outside the post.
Not by much.
No, close.
That was a pretty good shot.
I like the way Little gets real low. You see, he can see through things. The lower he gets his head down there, and he's pretty low. And see how low he is? He's really down underneath, and he can see that all the way.
Johnson with Patterson and Lincoln on the second power play unit for Vermont. Kept in at the point or no? We get a whistle.
Yeah, it was a delayed call, I guess, on the else.
Yeah, it looked like it came out over the line, but there was no call originally.
You know, he might have called it man in the crease. I don't know, because that's an awful slow whistle for an offside. But anyway, it's outside, and here they go.
53 seconds to go in the penalty to Brick. Askew and Matt Johnson on the draw, and Vermont controls. Patterson carries. Pass intercepted by Pasco, and now RPI has control in its own zone, and Cuthbert can't flip it out. Now it bounces to center. Here's Askew. He takes a turn at the line and dumps it in. Hallman left wing pass to Johnson. He streaks down the left wing, holds up at the line. Hallman winds, fires, and tipped up into the crowd. I believe Pasco or Askew out front got a piece of that, deflected it high up into the crowd behind the RPI goal. 22 seconds left in the man advantage now.
The Engineers' penalty killing unit has allowed their opponents to score less than 16% of the time. I think two key factors there are, number one, the goaltender, which is a big part of your penalty kill. And number two, the aggressive player, their forwards. They come out very far and challenge the shooters.
Well, you know, years ago, most people were playing kind of a defensive box. They kind of stood around. But then people started picking that apart with people moving. So now you have to be more aggressive. Don't let them feel they can handle the puck unmolested. You got to go after them. Then they don't handle it so good.
Perron's line is on now for the final 20 seconds of the power play. Perot dumps it in. Little stops it for Roshan. He drives it around the boards, but it's kept in by Hallman at the right point. And now Pasco flips it out, and it rolls all the way down to Thomas. Crowd reacting to a hit Askew put on Larkin. Through center, here's San Luis. Tries to move around Cuthbert, loses control of the puck. Lazell plays it, dumps to center. Too far for Gabriel and rolls all the way down. That'll be an icing and come all the way back into the RPI zone. The penalty has been killed off. Vermont 0 for 1 on the power play. RPI 1 for 1. And the Engineers have the 1-0 lead. 5:08 left, first period.
Al, RPI seems to be hanging those wings a little high when they've got complete possession and know that they've got a little daylight. Vermont better watch that play. They're trying to hit that long wing.
You're right, that pass just missed, sending Jeff Gabriel in alone.
Eberle's on now for Vermont with Lavoie and Ruid, and as we mentioned, they played well their last time out. Had a strong shift. Sorg plays it in for the Catamounts. Little tries to stop it, doesn't get it, but Lazell picks it up for RPI. Puck loose along the near boards and now skated through center by Brad Lazell, and he dumps in. Sorg moves around Clark. Hamlin there to stop him. Hamlin knocks the puck free. Beats Clark along the goal line. Right point, left point. Lazell turns, winds, and fires. It's blocked by the defense. Bartel tried to keep it in and could not. Jonathan Sorg for the Catamounts. O'Connor keeps it in for RPI. Gets the return pass shot just wide of the net.
Look at this.
And here comes Lavoie. One man back to beat, and he couldn't do it. Good defensive play by Roshan. Lavoie controls the puck, however, from his knees. Takes Roshan down as they battle. And now Bartel sets up behind the Engineer goal. Hamlin with some good stick work to move around Johnson. He dumps it to the line. Vermont interception, starts back the other way. And we get a whistle. Vermont in offside as Lincoln picked up the puck at the top of the circle. Face-off will come outside the line.
Good job of Patrick Roshan getting back on that offensive opportunity by Vermont right here. You'll see Roshan come in here, slide, and force the forward to pull back on the shot and try to go around him. And he broke up that play.
That was a great play because he actually went down and blocked the shot and then recovered. And then took him out of the play. It was a terrific play.
Off the face-off, an intercept by Johnson. He fires in on Little, who makes the stop, and the face-off will come in the circle to the right of Neil Little. 3:42 left now, first period.
Showed his quickness and his agility to go down and block a shot and then get up and take the man out. Great play.
Johnson against Magic in the circle. RPI controls. Cuthbert winds it around the boards to O'Connor. He skates through center. Down the left wing, takes a bump from Johnson and rolls it in. Jason Williams with a hit from Magic. Puck loose behind the Catamount goal. Picked up by Quinn. Tom Quinn, the defenseman. Junior from Reading, Mass. Dumps it into the empty corner and RPI chases. Lincoln with a hit on Cuthbert. O'Connor with a hit on Letty. Now shot from the left point, blocked by Roshan in front of Little. Roshan takes a hit. Body's picking up here a little. Body checking, picking up on this last shift.
That's the line I told you that does a lot of hitting. A lot of hitting.
RPI icing the puck, and the faceoff will go back down into their end. 3:02 left, first period. RPI still with the 1-0 lead on the power play goal by Wayne Clark.
Tommy Quinn, number 16 for Vermont. I played with his father at Boston University eons ago. And Buddy Powers played for Tommy's uncle at Catholic Memorial, Joe Quinn.
There's a couple of Catholic Memorial players on this RPI squad. We'll be meeting them during one of the period intermissions here later tonight. Off the draw, Vermont keeps it in at the point. Larkin tries to shoot it toward the net, but it's deflected to the far boards, and RPI dumps it down. Icing waved off. Pasco first to get it, takes a hit from Larkin. And Pasco looking for the faceoff, trying to tie it up. Puck still loose. Can't get a whistle. Matthews takes a bump from Hallman. St. Louis runs into the referee. Pasco puts a body on him. Hallman comes in, puts a body on Matthews. Pasco goes down, puck is loose. And Martin St. Louis comes away for Vermont. Headman pass too far ahead of Perron. And RPI plays at center. And now Pasco dumps it in. Thomas went behind the net to play the puck, lost his stick. But now Hallman has it, and he's unchecked as he skates out of the zone. Backhand pass intended for Pattison, knocked away. Here comes RPI. Jeff Brick throws it in front. Askew couldn't direct it in. He tried, but directed it just wide of the net. Kept in by Perron. He winds. Takes the shot, tried to set up Richardson, but he was about a stride behind it. Reagan kicks it into the corner. Richardson back there, tries to center, puck loose in front, and we got a whistle. Tim Regan hurt on the play, slow to get up.
Jim, and this is the line that I talked about at the beginning of the game. Regan, Brick, and Richardson that's been playing very well together. Buddy put them together a few weeks ago, and they've been creating a lot of offensive opportunities just like that with their hard work in the corners and their quickness.
Well, you could see that their type of hard workers. They were forechecking. They were taking everything they could. Every green shirt they saw, they hit it, and they kept the puck in the zone. They did a real good job.
Minute 41 to go in the period. Face-off just outside the Vermont line. Richardson and Ducharme. Richardson wins it, tries to make a move. Here's Reagan. He fires it, hits the low end of the post. Bottom of the post to the outside. It wouldn't have gone in. Now flipped in high behind the net. Good shot by Tim Regan, though. Kept in by Roshan at the point. Now back-checking Perot knocks it out. RPI knocks it back in. Center ice, John Perron dumps it in. It's going to roll to Thomas. He leaves for McKell. Perron takes a hit at the line. He can't keep it in. Now Vermont comes the other way. Headman pass too far for Perot. He's going to chase it down in the corner. He leaves for Patterson. Patterson walks out in front. Shot stopped by Little. Loose in front. Picked up by RPI and skated off. Good job by Jeff Brick. He goes off on a change. And the pass came to where he would have been. But O'Connor a little bit late in getting there, so Vermont controls in their own end. Final 40 seconds of the period. Magic intercepts. Dumps it down for O'Connor. He's ridden off the play. And the puck rolls out of the zone. Half minute to go. Lazell drives it in. Thomas steers it to the corner. And Vermont throws it all the way down. And we get the icing call. 16 seconds to go in the period. Face-off will come back down into the Vermont end.
That's, Coach loves that. Sitting in the catbird seat, 16 seconds to go and you got the face-off in their end. Nothing much, too much should happen in your end, but you really got a chance to get something going.
A lot of times, of course, you'll see the goaltender get pulled when there's like 4 or 5 seconds left maybe, but certainly 16, too much time.
Yeah, generally, like I've seen coaches go as far as 4. I think I used to do 3. I was scared of that extra second.
Never know how fast the ice is that
But
night.
I think in my 20 years, we got a couple of goals on it. I remember once we tied up Army in the last second of play.
Puck loose in the slot. And finally, Lincoln comes away with it for Vermont. For the final 10 seconds, they got one more rush. For Lincoln put himself offside, however. And with 5 seconds to go, the faceoff will be just outside the RPI line. Bill Lincoln trying to make one more play, but lost control of the puck and got the skates in over the line ahead of the puck.
Well, you could see as he was going through the neutral zone, he was looking up for the clock, trying to figure out what he had.
About time to drop it and slap it. Lots to come your way during the intermission, so stay with us along the satellite network as the first period expires. The power play goal by Wayne Clark gives RPI the 1-0 lead as we complete the first 20 minutes here at the Houston Fieldhouse. At the end of one, as you see the Rensselaer engineers making their way back into the locker room. At the end of one, it is Rensselaer 1 and the University of Vermont Catamounts 0. Stay with us. There's still lots to come during the intermission. We mentioned before the feature on RPI great, current Boston Bruin great Adam Oates coming up. Also a feature on John Carter, who was one of the stars of that last Rensselaer National Championship team back in 1985. And you'll also be meeting the captain of UVM's 1993-94 edition, Nick Perot. That's all coming up. Let's go downstairs to Ed Day.
Thank you, Jim. 1-0, end of the first period, and Jim is exactly right. We're going to be telling you between these two periods about two RPI players from that Championship 85 team who are still in professional hockey. I'll also be giving you some of the trivia questions, have some live interviews here, and tell you about the captain of the UVM team. But let's start with the man who scored the goal that beat Minnesota Duluth in the semifinals of the NCAA. John Carter's shot in triple overtime won the game and sent RPI into the finals, and John Carter is still in hockey. There is one moment in every professional athlete's career that they will never forget. For John Carter, that was the 1985 NCAA semifinals.
Carter far side, he shoots, score! We win it! We win it! Shot score! We win it! Shot Carter! Shot score engineers! John Carter with 15 seconds left in the power play shoots and scores from the far side.
My own personal moment had to be scoring the triple overtime goal in the semifinals that put us into the finals for the championship game. We were playing Minnesota Duluth out in Joe Louis, and scoring that goal was one of the biggest goals of my career.
John, along with several of his teammates from that championship team, went on to play professional hockey. Players like Adam Oates, Darren Pupa, and Ken Hammond. But Rensselaer has had good teams before. What made this team the champions?
One of the things that made us so successful was the closeness of the team. You know, there was no jealousy. We had a great bunch of guys. Everyone knew what their job was, and we're just a close-knit group on and off the ice. And you know, we had Mike Odessa there coaching the team, and you know, it was just a great team. We had a lot of talent, and we just gelled together, a lot of different personalities, and you know, we had a lot of great friendships out of there also.
John's played in close to 300 games in the NHL, including playing the Stanley Cup Finals. Even after all of that, he still remembers the Big Red Freakout at Rensselaer.
Oh, that was a big charge. You know, the Big Red Freakout's one of the most fun things I've ever played in front of. You know, it's something that, and to this day, I talk to players that played at RPI, and they always mention the Big Red Freakout and how hard it was to come into the building and how hard it was to win, especially if we get up a couple of goals. You know, it's special just because it's that one game a year where the fans really get outrageous and they can, you know, bring out their true spirit and colors, and you know, it's just an exciting place to be, and for the players, it's exciting knowing it's a Big Red Freakout. You try and get charged up for every game, but knowing it's a Big Red Freakout, it gives you something little extra inside, and you know, it's just an exciting thing for both players and the fans.
The Rensselaer 1985 NCAA champions are each truly dedicated to the sport, to their teammates, and even after all these years, to Rensselaer.
You know, I've been really happy the way things have gone, and you know, I owe a lot of it to my days at RPI.
One of the memories that brought back was the play-by-play announcer who you heard there at the beginning on John Carter's goal was Richie Glassberg, Grand Marshal at the time, nearly freaked out in that game. You heard his hoarseness, "We win, we win." That could be a trivia question, who called it, but it's not, because I've just given you the answer. I'm not going to be so fast with the answer to our first trivia question tonight. Here it comes. Who is the only player in Rensselaer history to wear the uniform number 0? Here are some hints. He played 6 games for the Edmonton Oilers of the NHL, and he still holds the Rensselaer record for most career saves, some 2,645. Now let's try a Vermont trivia question that's rather timely. What 3 UVM All-Americans will be skiing cross-country for the USA in the Winter Olympics in Lillehammer, Norway? We'll give you the answers in a few minutes. We'll let you work those out at the various centers. Maybe you can get some bets going over who can get one, at least that one. You're looking at the Fieldhouse, the Houston Fieldhouse, Big Red Freakout, 1-0 RPI, and a power play goal by Wayne Clark about halfway through the first period. That's really the difference in the game, power play efficiency. RPI 1 for 1, Vermont 0 for 1. If you went to this school, you're aware that it is not always easy to get tickets to get into the Houston Fieldhouse. In fact, it requires considerable effort. It requires standing in line from some point in September on. It's the hockey line at RPI. Here's a feature report on it.
Pretty much everyone you talk to is just like, you know, we're out on hockey line waiting for tickets. They expect you to be out for just like a week, and then you tell them you're out for a month, and they think you're a little bit crazy.
Rain, cold, the dark of night, nothing, but nothing will deter these Rensselaer students in their pursuit of the best hockey tickets.
Like one night when I was sleeping out here, it was a thunderstorm, and it was really neat to go to bed watching the lightning outside. But like at 6 o'clock in the morning, when it started to get really windy, the rain just came in on top of you. You know, you were sleeping, and the next thing you know, it's raining on your face.
In what has become a unique Rensselaer tradition, every year, even before the leaves turn, students with mattresses, sofas, and TVs start forming a line around the student union. They're waiting to buy season hockey tickets. But is it worth it?
It's not just sitting out online waiting for hockey games. It's just it's the experience of being on a hockey line. It's just something else. You know, it's one of the things about RPI that makes it different, and I think it's really neat.
It's one big slumber party out in the middle of the student union. I don't know, it's kind of interesting.
It's also a lot of fun being out here at night. You can have parties till 3 in the morning if you want.
Remember, these are college students, and they can make anything seem fun.
It's not that bad, so, because we have 2 mattresses and about, how many people? We got about 20 people, so it's not that bad.
But how did it all start? Len Poe, class of '73, remembers some of the reasons.
The most fundamental of the reasons was that there's always been a very intense interest in the hockey team on the part of the RPI student body. And even though the field house has perhaps one of the better seating capacities of any of the collegiate facilities in the East, there's always been a demand for tickets, and students have always been willing to compete for them.
It is not surprising Rensselaer students would even take an analytical approach to even hockey.
Not all seats in the field house are created equal, and in those days this was even more true, because at the time the sidelines of the field house were populated with a series of columns which blocked the view of various areas on the rink for those people who were seated in the stands on the sideline. As a matter of fact, the view was compromised so much that there were probably only what I would term, there were probably only 24 choice seats in the whole side that was available for student seating. And these were the seats that had an unobstructed view of both goals, both blue lines, the four corners, and all of the face-off spots on the ice. And because there were so few of these seats available before the removal of the columns, there was a great competition for acquiring those seats. And as a matter of fact, many students, before the sale of tickets was commenced, that would go up to the field house and actually map out where the seats were and qualify and grade the seats in terms of the quality of view that they gave you of the ice. I had a color-coded map that graded the seats based on what view was obstructed on the ice.
After months of waiting patiently, finally the big day when the hockey tickets go on sale. On this day, it's not only the culmination of months of waiting, it is also the luxury of being treated to breakfast by the president. This year, Dr. Byron Pipes was serving up steaming coffee and donuts to hungry hockey fans. Dr. Pipes, as past presidents like George Lowe, involved the whole Rensselaer community in the excitement and spirit that leads up to hockey season. The hockey line, it's a true Rensselaer tradition.
And as far as the tenacity that's exhibited by the existence of the line, I would say that that really is nothing more than an enactment of the motto of Rensselaer, which is knowledge and thoroughness.
It was all the more intense this year because this year RPI, going into the season, was ranked third in the country. Of course, they're third in the ECAC tonight, clearly destined for the playoffs. By the way, some of the foul footage there was clearly from the 1985 championship game. The Providence Friars are wearing the old long-style pants that I guess have now been banned from college hockey. Let's check in again with our satellite sites around the country. Dan Levy standing by at another. Dan.
Now it's time to go around the country to check our alumni gatherings. It appears that things are starting to heat up at Stooge's Sports Bar and Restaurant in Atlanta, Georgia, and at Patty's in Vail, Colorado. The word is it's a rather rowdy, fun-loving crowd at the Texas Sports Bar in Austin, Texas, and at Champion Sports Bar in Raleigh, North Carolina. Everyone reporting to be having a great time at Bleachers in Tampa, Florida, and the Mount Washington Tavern in Baltimore. There's news that the party's going strong at San Jose Live in San Jose, California, and at the American Sports Bar and Grill in Buffalo, New York. People are enjoying catching up on old times at the 4th Street Bar and Deli in San Francisco and in Chicago at High Tops. And things seem to be pretty lively at the Sports Page in Rochester, New York, and at Jackson's Hole in Denver, Colorado. Now it's back to the action and excitement at the Houston Fieldhouse in Troy.
Go Big Red!
The Big Red Freakout frenzy seems contagious here at Alumni House, with more than 300 strong rooting up a storm. Is there anything that would have kept you away from this night?
Not really.
And it's not really just past students who are into it. It's students of the future, too. Is he an RPI fan?
Of course he's an RPI fan. He's from the class of 2015.
And, of course, the class of Alumni House, the Rensselaerics.
Here's to old RPI, the faith they never die.
The The RPI spirit is alive and harmonizing here at the Alumni House. For the Big Red Freakout, I'm Dan Levy. Ed Degg, back to you.
Thank you, Dan. The spirit's certainly alive in this building tonight. 5,200 plus in the stands. 1-0 RPI between the first and second period. And who was it who wore number 0 for the Engineers, and who are the 3 UVM players? Here are the answers to the first trivia questions. Who was the only Rensselaer player to wear the uniform number 0? Well, it was Don Cutts, playing 1971 through 74. And for Vermont, what 3 UVM All-Americans will be skiing cross-country in this year's Olympics? We will be rooting for Laura Wilson, class of 91, Karen Petty, class of 93, and Todd Boonstruck, class of 89. If the Hobie Baker Award people who are going to consider Neil Little this year could look back retroactively, they would have looked back to 85 and given it to the clear star that year, and now one of the big stars of the NFL, Adam Oates of the Boston Bruins. Here's Adam.
Looks up ahead to Oates, up the far board.
1985, the NCAA champions. It was the season and the RPI hockey team that no one will ever forget. It was a team of true champions and many stars, and one of the brightest stars was Adam Oates. Oatesy, as he is called, then a junior, helped lead the team to a victory and the national spotlight.
Well, obviously, the championship season was obviously our best year. The next year, we came on very strong early, and we had an absolutely great run, and everybody was in a good mood all the time. It was just one of those rare seasons.
Today, as Oatesy practices with his Boston Bruin teammates, you realize how far he has come from a high school dropout to Bachelors of Science from Rensselaer. He struggled to go back to high school to finish and graduate, all because the coaches at RPI recognized his raw talent and recruited him to play at Rensselaer.
Well, Mike Odessa was exactly what Adam Oates needed. You know, I was a little bit older as a freshman, and I had good hand skills, but I needed to work on other parts of my game, and he was a disciplinarian that I really needed to shape my character and my career, and he pushed me to the point where I worked on my game enough to make it to the NHL.
Fierce determination is what Adam Oates has exhibited on and off the ice. Just before his senior year, the Detroit Red Wings wooed him with a $1 million contract. The big dollars would have made many forget the academics for good, but Adam remembered his mistake of years past when he dropped out of high school. He was not going to make the same mistake at Rensselaer.
Yeah, I got my degree a couple years ago. It took me 6 summers to get my senior year, and I got my degree now, and I'm very thankful for that. You know, it gave me a very unique experience to be able to play hockey and go to school, and I really appreciate it.
Oatesy has played in hundreds of hockey games in Canada at Rensselaer for professional teams like the Detroit Red Wings, the St. Louis Blues, and now for the Boston Bruins. But the hockey game that may have changed the direction of his life forever was his visit to Rensselaer. It just happened to be for the Big Red Freakout.
Oh yeah, that's what sold me on RPI. My recruiting trip, I went down for the Big Red Freakout, and for a Canadian kid, it was absolutely incredible. It was so different and so unique, and playing in it, it was, you know, the highlight of the year. It was the one game that year, and everybody got pumped up for it, and it was a real special feeling.
Adam Oates, and you can see him this Friday night, I noticed, on ESPN. They have a Bruins game coming up, and it's Oates against Brett Hull, a matchup from 85. Jim Brennan remembers that. Jim, we got a whale of a game going tonight.
Rebely, Ruid, and Lavoie.
They played well. I'm sure the coach is happy with that. When you get that kind of effort out of your fourth line, it takes a little pressure off, and also you feel you can throw them back out there again, so you're kind of saving your strength for later in the game. Also, Johnson, Letty, and Lincoln did a lot of hitting. They probably, I would say, in the last few years that I've been watching ECAC hockey, that line probably does more hitting in the offensive zone on their forecheck than any line I've seen.
Well, the two big lines are going to start. Ducharme between Pattison and Perreault for Vermont. Askew with Matthews and Pascoe for RPI. And the loose puck at center ice is played into the RPI zone by Pattison. It rolls to Little, and he leaves for Lazell. Underway second period, RPI with a 1-0 lead. Williams shot from the point, deflected twice. Bartel almost deflected it right on net. Loose in the zone. Here's Williams, and now finally RPI flips it out. Williams shot hit two different players. The second, Adam Bartel, who tried to knock it down with the hand, and he knocked it right toward his own goal, but it went over the top of Neil Little's head.
Yeah, Jim, that was a case of just, I think, Bartel reacting naturally, seeing the puck come at him, and he just swatted at it. It went right over the top of the net. He almost slam dunked it.
Yeah, it might have been self-defense thing coming at his head, but you're right, it did come close to the net, and that would have been a goal. Offensive player can't do it, but a defensive player can throw it in.
Face off to the circle, to the right of Neil Little. That Johnson line is on for Vermont. Richardson's line out for RPI. Lincoln tries to tee it up, but can't do it. He's knocked down, and here comes Brick. He takes a heavy bump from Larkin, but it's ahead to Richardson. He winds, fires, glove save by Thomas. Good shot by Brian Richardson. Good glove save by Tim Thomas.
Once again, the quickness and the speed of the Engineers set up this break. Here you see Richardson with a wide open shot, but Tim Thomas just flashes out the glove and picks it off.
That was a great shot of the angle because he played the angle well, and the shot was a good one. Down low in the glove side, really low, but he made the save.
The Perron line on now for Vermont with San Luis and Patterson. RPI answering with Xavier Magic between Jeff O'Connor on the right, Eric Perardi on the left. Magic and Perron. Perron wins the draw back behind his own net. Knocked to the corner by Thomas. And here comes San Luis. He overskates a little bit, loses control. Now here he is coming down the left side. Backhander, weak backhander, knocked aside by Little. San Luis falls on top of the puck. Now it rolls free. Perron backhands it out of the zone. Sorg dumps it back in for the Catamounts. John Perron looking for a penalty across ice, not getting it. Puck up along the right wing boards. Perardi bumped off the play, loose at center, and here's Patterson to the line. Flips a wrister in on Little. He sticks it aside. Centering pass by San Luis into the skates of Perron. He tries to wrap around. He's knocked down by Magic. O'Connor plays the puck to Xavier Magic. RPI coming out 3-on-2 if they hurry, but they don't. Patterson gets back, and he backhands it out of the zone. Now here's Eberle to the circle. Shot stopped by Little. Rebound played off by O'Connor. Headmans to Magic, skating through center. He loses control of the puck there, bumped off the play, and the RPI comes back now. O'Connor, right wing to Regan. He flips it wide of the net, chases in after it. Lavoie beats him to it, plays for Hallman. Hallman off the stick of Ruiz, shot by Brick. Tipped up over the net, rebound comes wide, way out. Cathbart's shot is blocked. Richardson tries to set up Cathbart, he overskates. And now J.C. Ruiz in center ice for Vermont. He takes a hit, leaves the puck for back-checking Tim Regan. Played a little over 2 here in the second period. 1-0 RPI still. At the RPI line, Regan puts a hit on Ducharme, but he was able to sweep it in. Cuthbart plays it off the boards and out. Hallman to the RPI line, loose puck kicked in by Ducharme. Here comes Perreault to the circle. Moves in front, shot, score! Beautiful play by Nick Perreault. And Vermont has tied it here. 2:40 into the second period.
Well, Perreault really just went right around. Nobody touched him. He worked and put on a burst of speed, was able to bring it back to his forehand, crossed right in front of Little, had the whole net. Nobody touched him.
Take another look.
You watch, he gets in.
Cathbart making the dive.
He's able to take it wide to his forehand. Little has really no chance here. All he has to do is make sure he buries it now. Nice goal. Nick Perreault, probably the best all-around player at Vermont, offensively and defensively.
3:40 of the second period. Nick Perreault's 15th of the year. Ties it up for Vermont. And so we're even. Brad Lazell for RPI. To the line, he dumps it in.
And that goal will go unassisted for Nick Perreault.
Loose puck in front. Here's the shot by Bartel, stopped by Thomas, and the rebound swept all the way down. Little's going to come out and stop it for Lazell.
You know, not because Vermont scored that goal, but I think they have come out much more aggressive here in the beginning of this period than they did in the first period.
Here's a backhander by Perreault, swept aside. He stays with it, tries to wrap around. Little makes the stop, but it's still loose in front. Another backhander by Patterson is wide. Good pressure by the Catamounts here. RPI tied up, a giveaway by Bartel to Patterson. He's behind the net. Center's in front. It's loose. Score. It's going to be waved off.
Waved off. The whistle blew just before the shot was taken. I think they're going to call it a man in the crease.
Vermont's going to argue it. The puck went in the net, but the referee Melanson has waved it off. He waved it off immediately.
He either called a penalty or a man in the crease.
Right here,
This is Patterson setting up. There was a trip right there.
Yeah, nobody in the crease. Don't know exactly what this call will be, but the whistle clearly blew. There you can see John Melanson blowing the whistle and waving it off. They called it a man in the crease. It must have happened before.
Well, I think Askew
knocked
knocked Ducharme into the crease, I believe. Askew took him down.
Well, that's a tough call. It really is a tough one for Vermont.
Loose puck at center now to the Vermont end. RPI stops it at their own line, but it's in the zone. San Luis sweeps it toward the net. Rebound comes way out to Clark at the top of the circle, and he backhands it out of the zone. Sorg, though, throws it right back in. 4 minutes going by, second period. Vermont has tied it, and we get a whistle.
Delayed offside, I believe.
Delayed offside, I believe you're right. The faceoff will come just outside the RPI line. But you're right, Jim. Vermont has clearly had the better of play here in the opening 4 minutes of this period. With the exception of the one shot Brian Richardson had, that Tim Thomas made the glove stop. Other than that, it's been all Vermont in the RPI end.
Yeah, they're giving RPI no space. As soon as a man picks up a puck, he's looking at a green shirt. And that's what you got to do. Take away their space. Don't give them any room to skate with the puck.
Magic wins the draw from Perron, and RPI controls in their own zone. But not cleanly, and they just had to sweep it out to center. Now O'Connor flips it in, and Thomas will stop it. But Perotti gets to it first, tries to sweep it around. Nobody there. Now O'Connor's shot hit the outside of the net and bounced into the corner. He centers from Magic. Magic can't tee it up. Puck is still loose. Perron with a back pass to get it out of the zone. Here comes Patterson down the left wing. One man to beat. His shot stopped by Little. Rebound. Magic couldn't control, and neither could Perron. And now RPI does. Dangerous rebound there. Neither player could get to it. But Vermont outshot RPI in the first period, and they're piling it on here. Perron back behind his own net. Now it's flipped to center where Kiley stops it for the Engineers. Makes a pass to nobody, and now he gets back the loose puck. Here come the Catamounts. Ruiz tries to make a move around Cuthbert. He spun away and lost control of the puck. Headman pass intended for Gabriel. Threw him all the way down. Icing call, and the faceoff will come back into the RPI end.
You know, as Vermont has increased its intensity here and taken away a little space, as we mentioned, RPI is not executing as well. They a few times there, they had people open, they had the puck on their forehand, they made the pass. It wasn't a good pass. So that comes when you start putting extra pressure on your opponents.
Of course, when they know that pressure's there, they take their eyes up and start looking for the player instead of the puck. On that last draw they won, the pass to Perron on the left defense, he couldn't handle it. And they couldn't get it out of the zone because he didn't take the original pass.
Exactly.
RPI wins this draw. Cuthbert sweeps it into the empty corner. Ruiz plays it back behind the net for Lavoie. He's ridden into the boards. Clark comes away for RPI. Ahead to Hamlin. Hamlin into the zone. Tries to feed Gabriel. Couldn't connect. Goes through. And now Ruiz has it along the near boards for the Catamounts. Clark bumps him off. Eberle back checking. Picks up the puck and flips it to center. Lavoie carries into the zone. To Ruiz. Makes a move around Kiley. Bumped off the play just before the shot. It rolled a little. He kicked to the side. And we're going to get a whistle and a penalty upcoming.
Call will be checking from behind.
Ruiz took a shot just as he was about to take the shot. The puck rolled a little, and he steered it away. But Kiley is going to be going off. Oh, Kiley's going to the bench. We'll get the penalty. It's on Gabriel.
Jeff Gabriel, number 16, senior forward for the Engineers.
This is Ruiz making the move around Kiley, and you see him trying to tee it up as he moves in. We'll see if he's the one who gets the hit.
Yep. That's Jeff Gabriel and Craig Hamlin stepping into him right there. May have been a case of mistaken identity on that call.
But there was the hit from behind, but generally they call that along the boards. They don't too often call it in open ice.
Shot from the right point goes wide all the way out, kept in by Larkin at the left point. Perot can't play it. And Pasco, the RPI penalty killer, drives it all the way down. Minute 40 to go in the man advantage for Vermont. Their second of the night. RPI killed off the first one. Pasco dragging the puck a little bit, brings it back into his own end. Bartel, Lazell, Pasco, and Askew up front for RPI. Here's Pasco into the circle, centers for Askew, couldn't direct it in. Good shorthanded bid by the Engineers. Now the Vermont power play. Ducharme ahead to Perrin. He couldn't control. And now here's Pasco. He winds, fires, stopped by Thomas, who came way out. Thomas, for a freshman, not afraid to come out of that cage. On the right wing, here's Perreault. Around Lazell, knocked down, sweeps it in front, but Little knocked it behind the net. Now it comes back out to the left point, over the right side, Larkin. Down low, St. Louis takes a hit from Perrin. Now Eberle. I beg your pardon, that's Ducharme. Now Perreault tries to set up. Perrin couldn't do it. Lazell tripped up, falls on top of the puck. Passes ahead to Magic. He's bumped there by Perrin. Vermont able to control, however. 33 seconds to go in the man advantage. Lazell winds it around the boards, can't get it out. Larkin will keep it in at the right point. Perreault into the corner to Ducharme. Takes a hit from Lazell. St. Louis battling with it. Larkin couldn't keep it at the point. Here's a rush down for Pasco. One man to beat. Pasco coming down with Magic. To Magic. Shot. Save by Thomas.
What a play.
Beautiful save by Tim Thomas. He anticipated that one beautifully.
You got it exactly right. We'll get the replay on this. A nice pass across to Xavier Magic, who's all alone, but Tim Thomas comes across and makes a sparkling glove save.
Well, Jimmy had it exactly right. He anticipated that shot beautifully because you can't make that move after they've made that pass. If the RPI player had got it up, he wouldn't have had a chance because he had to dive across, and the only way he can dive across is to extend himself. So he didn't get it up.
Great shorthanded bid for RPI. The penalty winding down now. As Vermont comes out of the zone, RPI back at full strength. Shot by Williams, stopped by Little. Rebound shot, stopped again. Covered up in the crease. Is that Little's got a hand on it or Regan?
Timmy Regan definitely pulled it in. This will be an interesting call.
No, I think he's calling a face-off. He is not. Yep.
Pointing to the circle.
Pointing to the circle.
I saw the loose puck and I saw Regan's hand go out over it, but maybe he didn't cover it.
A nice first save by Neil Little.
There's the hand. That's Regan's hand.
Yeah, but he got rid of it in a hurry.
Take another look. It's going to go out toward the left post. There's the second shot.
And Jim Cross, of course, they could call a penalty shot in that instance if they thought that
if he covers it and he leaves that there, that's why it's like a hot potato. If you cover it, you got to move it quickly, get it out of there, because that is a penalty shot if a skater covers it.
Well, it came right to Little. He swept to the side, and RPI gets it to center. Lavoie tips it into the corner. Holman back to play it. He hits with Regan. They go into the boards. Eberle to the line. Left wing pass to Ruiz. He's offside as he carries it in on the left wing. Ruiz and Cuthbert with a little pushing after the whistle. Face-off will come outside the RPI line. 11:50 to go, second period. Vermont has picked up the play here in the second. They've gotten the only goal. It was Dick Perreault at the 3:40 mark, and that tied the score at 1.
I think that penalty kill by the Engineers, of course, the shorthanded bit at the end was what you'll remember, but Brad Lazell, Ron Pasco did a great job of keeping Vermont from getting any quality shots.
Yeah, they didn't have a very good power play, and that you got to give a credit to the other team lots of times. Too often, if you haven't got a good power play going, you start blaming yourself, but RPI did a lot of good things.
Off the draw, the puck deep in the RPI end. Hamlin gets it ahead to Clark, and he'll skate it out along the right wing. He flips to an empty center ice, where Sword plays it back for Vermont. And the puck now loose at the RPI line. Adam Bartel back skating behind his net. There's a Vermont glove, and there's a stick, and there's a heavy hit. As Cuthbert driven into the boards by Letty. Letty sweeps it toward the goal, way wide though, and Bartel chases it down. Glove on the ice, a stick on the ice. And here comes Adam Bartel winding through his own zone ahead to Clark to the Vermont line. His wrist shot gloved by Thomas. And he's going to hold on. Thought about playing it into the corner to his defenseman, but Jeff Gabriel closing in on the right wing, and Thomas thought better of it.
Well, you know, we're halfway by through this period, a little more than halfway, and Vermont definitely is carrying the play, definitely.
Unfortunately, the scoreboard clock to our left and right is not keeping shots on goal. Only apparently at the end of the period. They were 16-11 Vermont in the first period. They haven't been updated since then, but Vermont's got, what, a 7-5 edge here in the second period. Xavier Magic against Dominique Ducharme. And Magic wins the draw, but it gets by Bartel and races into the Vermont zone. Patterson with some speed beats Bartel to it. He's behind the net. Looking for a centering pass, nobody there.
I think we'll get an interference, a cross-checking call in front of Neil Little. It'll be either Magic or the defenseman who was with him. I think it will be Xavier Magic going off for cross-checking at 9:09.
So Vermont will go on the power play for the third time tonight.
Well, Vermont's aggressive play, and RPI is responding by trying to slow them down with a cross-check, a grab, or whatever. And when you start playing aggressive, it forces the other team to do things they don't normally do.
Of course, you know, we talked a lot at the beginning of the game, too, about this big Red Freakout, 5,000 people, and how loud it's been. It hasn't been, to my knowledge, or to my mind, a particularly loud Big Red Freakout.
No, I agree with you, Jim. It's been a lot louder in this building, and Jim Cross, you can attest, it gets a lot louder in Gutterson Fieldhouse in Burlington.
Yeah,
so
I think it's the acoustics of the building up in Vermont.
Certainly the crowd effect has not been noticeable to this point tonight, like we guessed that it might be at the beginning of the game. Here's the Vermont power play. Bartel with the puck, however, for RPI. He flips it to the Vermont line. Perron plays it ahead to Ducharme. He circles at center. Has his pocket picked by Pasco. Pasco skates in, gets the shot out. Another quick glove save by Thomas. Tim Thomas with a great glove here tonight. He's picked 3 of them out of the air. Minute 20 to go in the Vermont man advantage. To this point, it hasn't been much of an advantage. They haven't gotten it into the RPI zone. And now Perron just sweeps it in with the backhand, but Bartel drives it, can't get it out. Ducharme intercepts, sets up the shot in the slot by St. Louis. It went wide. Perron holds it in along the far boards, takes a hit from Lazell. Lazell tries to drive the puck up along the boards. St. Louis holds it in to Perron. Down low to Ducharme, tries to set up Perot, can't do it, knocked into the corner. Perot goes down, no call. And the puck gets by Larkin at the point. Here comes Perardi for RPI, down the right wing side. Moves in, puck rolls into Thomas, he can't control it, rolls into the corner. Eric Perardi tried to get it on the backhand, didn't get a good shot off. Puck rolled to Thomas and he steered it into the corner. 30 seconds to go in the Vermont man advantage. It's been a good penalty kill thus far for RPI.
This is the second straight power play where Vermont has actually been outplayed.
Exactly, the bigger scoring chances have come from the team down, the man down situation.
Patterson stripped at the line. We will get the whistle. Rochan's clearing pass hit a Vermont player on the bench. So the faceoff will be just outside the RPI zone. 19 seconds to go in the man advantage.
Sometimes you just can't get a rhythm going to try to get out of your own zone, and the other team has a lot to do with that. But Vermont just seemed a little disorganized trying to come out of their own. They weren't grouping together. RPI would step up. One man up there broke up the whole play. So they're just a little out of sync right now.
Gabriel wins the draw for RPI, and the Engineers throw it all the way down. Thomas makes the stop in front of the net. This is for Jason Williams. He winds on the right side, coming through center. Patterson, he dumps it in. Perron plays it for RPI to Gabriel, and they'll clear the zone as the penalty expires. Magic comes back, and the teams are back at full strength. Gabriel along the left wing boards, can't play the puck. Richardson tries to skate it out, can't do it. Now the pass comes out to Richardson. Here's RPI, 2-on-2. Richardson overskates, gets it back, sweeps it into Gabriel in the middle. We get a whistle. And the faceoff is going to be called outside the zone, it looks like.
Man in the crease again?
Yep, man in the crease again. I think it was Captain Ron Pasco tied up in the crease in front of Tim Thomas.
Ron Pasco's been a factor in this second period for the Engineers. He's been their most dominant forward. He's gotten the 2 big plays going on the penalty kill, and he's also been in front of Tim Thomas on a couple of occasions trying to screen the goaltender.
Well, he looks like a great penalty killer if he's been doing that all year, I'll tell you.
Richardson between Brick and Regan for RPI. Richardson overskates the puck, and RPI player hurt. Regan got hit in the head again. He went down. He's back up now, however. Here's Lavoie down the right side. He's skated off the play by Cuthbert, and RPI regains control of the puck. Here come the Engineers, 3-on-2 if they hurry. Richardson down the left side. to the top of the circle, holds up, tries to center, blocked by the defense. In behind the heavy hit by Roshan on J.C. Ruid. Cuthbert one-times it from the blue line. Loose puck in front, swept aside by Vermont. And here come the Catamounts, 2-on-2. Lavoie to the left wing boards. Leaves for Eberle. His shot kicked out by Little. Rebound overskated by Ruid. The puck rolls to Little and he covers up.
Jim, that hit down behind the net was actually made by Timmy Regan, who's about 5'8", 160 pounds, maybe. And he delivered a tremendous check right behind Neil Little.
Well, that's a payback for somebody because Timmy Regan's taken a few shots here tonight.
He was
he
taking
had
numbers.
the momentum. I mean, he had him set up. I mean, you don't have to be big when you get that kind of an angle.
Yep, little guys can pick the big ones up off the ice. That's for sure.
But the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Kelly Askew to take the draw against Eric Perron. Pair of 10s in the circle to the left of Neil Little. 7:51 to go second period. Vermont, the only goal of the period. They've tied the score at 1.
Notice that the last 4 or 5 minutes, a little more 3-on-2s without a back checker in sight. Things are opening up a little bit.
Adam Bartel standing behind the goal, setting up the RPI breakout. Right wing pass hit Matthews in the skates. So it's loose in front of the RPI bench and now sent down into the Vermont end. Askew goes into the board with Lavoie. Williams checked by Pasco. Askew comes away with the puck. His centering pass intercepted. Loose in the circle. Matthews trying to tee it up. Can't do it. Perron puts a body on him. And now Eberle dumps it to center. And all the way down into the RPI end. Icing waved off as Lazelle's back to play it. Brad Lazelle moves around Perron. Pasco throws it to center. Gets by everybody and rolls down. 6:50 to go, second period. Mike, that was Larkin. That's Jason Williams behind the Vermont net setting it up. And the clearing pass goes up into the Vermont bench. Penalty, or the face-off, I should say, will come back to the Vermont line, just inside the line. Don't forget, there's a lot more coming your way in the second period intermission. You can find out why the 1985 NCAA Championship was a bittersweet victory for RPI defenseman and captain Ken Hammond, who later went on to play in the NHL, now playing in the American Hockey League. That's coming up between the second and third periods. Vermont controls the draw at their own end. And the shot by O'Connor has hit the outside of the net. Puck loose behind the net, now out to the far wing boards where Perreault plays it for Vermont. He sweeps it around behind the goal. Pattison turns on O'Connor and skates out. Pattison through center to the line. Around Roshan. Out in front, tried to tee it up, lost control and it rolled a little and he covers. But a nice individual effort by Rob Pattison, the junior from Sherborne, Massachusetts.
Perron never stepped forward and challenged him. He just kept backing and let him come in.
Yeah, well, it seems like some of the Vermont speedsters are getting around the RPI defense and able to get in. You shouldn't be able to come in from that angle. You know, you get pushed off at the goal line, you shouldn't be able to come back out front. They've done it 2 or 3 times.
That was a rush that started back in his own zone, too.
Yep. And Perreault was a good example. He went around and was able to come out 10 feet in front of the net.
Johnson and Hamlin on the draw. RPI comes away with it. Gabriel through center, flips it in. Thomas way out to play it off the glass and up over the glass.
He's going to call a penalty on him.
Yep, and delay a game.
Yep.
The puck went cleanly over the glass, and that's a delay of game. That's automatic, Jim, correct?
Yep. And it's unfortunate because I don't think Thomas was, I think he was trying to bank it off the glass. He knows the rule. He didn't mean to do it, but it's automatic.
Of course, as you look back, hindsight being 2020, there was a question as to whether Gabriel was going to get to the puck anyway.
Yep.
Before the Vermont back checker. But in any event, Vermont will have to send somebody to the penalty box. Nicholas Perreault, their captain, arguing the point with the 2 referees out at the blue line. As you're looking at goaltender Tim Thomas, who's been stellar tonight.
Well, they took the judgment out of that call. The referees used to have to make a judgment, and they said, hey, how do we know? So they made it clear that, hey, if he throws it out, it's out. He gets it 2 minutes. But I really don't think he was trying to do it. I think he was trying to bank it out, and just one of those things.
So Mike Gilligan's got to send somebody over to the penalty box. He'll send his penalty killers out. Eberle with Sorg and Patterson and Jason Williams. And it's going to be Brian Letty going over to serve the 2 minutes. 6:07 to go, second period. Game tied at 1. And RPI goes back on the power play. They scored their 1 goal on the power play back in the first period. Wayne Clark got it. Clark now out there with Hamlin and Pasco, Askew, and Magic. Here's Magic, top of the circle. To Hamlin. His shot stopped by Thomas, and he covers up.
You know, that was a great save by Thomas. Not so much the technique of actually stopping it, but the fact that when Vermont went cross-ice from left to right, generally what you're trying to do is freeze the goalie on one side and made a quick release. He's very quick in getting across the net.
He showed that here tonight. RPI wins the draw. Askew at the right point, fires it on net, off the glove, right through the empty crease. Clark couldn't tee it up. Golden opportunity for Wayne Clark.
I think he was surprised. I don't think he expected the puck to be right in front of him.
He was surprised, and he was checked at the time, too. It's not like he missed an golden opportunity, but he had a chance. Here's Kelly Askew to Magic. Looked like he was going to drive it in. Now he's ragging his center for just a moment. Now he dumps in, and RPI will chase. Jonathan Sorg wraps it around the boards, but not out. Askew holds it in on the wing. Pasco to the circle. Down low, Hamlin walks in front. Pasco shot stopped by Thomas. Loose puck, he covers up. Tim Thomas got the big left-handed glove out on top of the loose puck. After Ron Pasco had him point blank.
Exactly. Ron Pasco had a great scoring opportunity. He wasn't more than 7 or 8 feet out. And Tim Thomas just stoned him from right in front. Here's the replay. See from behind the net, here comes Craig Hamlin. He dishes it back to Ron Pasco, right between the skates of the defenseman. And Ronnie's about 10 feet out. And it looked like Thomas just flicked the leg out and made the save.
Thomas is in all the right spots in these scrambles. There's no question about that.
Of course, making the stop is only the first part. If you don't hold it, you got to cover that rebound, and he did that too.
You know, notice when he goes down, he goes in that kind of butterfly, and he bounces right back up.
Regan takes this draw, wins it forward, he goes right after it. It's loose along the goal line. Thomas falls into the side of the net, trying to get it covered up, and does get the whistle. Thomas came out to play the puck at the side of the net, was pushed into the back of the goal, did the splits. You see him getting up there. And he was waiting for that whistle, and he got it. He was in no position to cover the front of the net.
You know, that tires you out. You're going up, you're going down, you're going across the net. Goaltenders wear all that equipment. You got to be in great shape. They don't do as much skating as the other players, but I'll tell you, you got to be in great shape to be a goaltender.
The knees got to be working, that's for sure. 1:05 to go in the man advantage. RPI again controls the puck in the Vermont end. Roshan keeps it in by batting it behind the net. Brick chasing it. Larkin gets to it first, drives it out. No, not out. Kept in by Hamlin. Hamlin at the point. Now Regan. Down low, Richardson. In front for Brick. Comes all the way out and out of the zone. Craig Hamlin has to come back to get it. There's a good example, Jim, of the play breaking down because Roshan didn't handle the pass. And it was a simple pass. He was unchecked. Here's Hamlin skating into the zone. Carried it in offside as he was tripped up. Faceoff comes just outside the zone. 28 seconds to go on the man advantage.
Well, RPI had good possession there. They were working on the perimeter, but Vermont was in good position and didn't really allow them anything. And then RPI tried to force the play with a pass out to the right point, and there was no point man there. He'd come in looking, trying to get it open.
Richardson between Brick and now Patrick Roshan up on the right wing as Regan has moved back to the right point with Craig Hamlin for the last half minute of the power play. Vermont wins the draw, however, and Hallman throws it all the way down. Here's Hamlin. Left wing to Richardson, cuts along the red line, out of the Vermont line, winds, fires, has it blocked, and it went wide of the net. Loose puck in the corner. Regan loses a stick, trying to get the tie up there, but the puck is loose. Here's Roshan, left point, team's back at full strength. Roshan tripped up nicely by Johnson and able to break up the play, and then Vermont clears it and ices it because Letty has come back on. The man advantage had ended for RPI, so the Icing brings the face-off back into the Vermont zone. 3:59 to go, second period, tied at 1.
You know, it's a 1-1 hockey game, Al, but yeah, I get the feeling I keep looking at the scoreboard thinking Vermont's ahead. I really do.
They really have dominated play in this second period.
Except for that last 2-minute power play, most of the play has been down in the RPI zone.
You know, it's a funny game, though. You could come out next period and RPI could take over. It does swing one way and the other.
Eberle wins the draw for the Catamounts. Jonathan Sorg carrying the puck. Gets it out of the zone, ahead to Ruid off his body. Here's Eberle. He beat Bartel to it, then leaves it in the corner for Ruid. Magic takes a hit. And Perardi plays it for the Engineers. He slaps it out of the zone. Loose at center now, and O'Connor just backhands it in, where Sorg plays it right back out. 3:25 to go in the period. Larkin leads for Sorg. Right wing pass goes through everybody, even through Lazelle, back into the RPI zone. And here's Magic. He dumps in and goes off as RPI changes up. So Vermont easily able to clear the zone on the line change. Cam Cuthbert plays it at the RPI line, now skates through center and backhands it in. Puck flipped to an empty corner. Jonathan Sorg racing for it. Beaten to the play, however, by Pasco. Now Larkin takes it away. And Vermont knocks it out to center, where back-checking Kelly Askew. Play a little ragged here for the last minute or two. Now Perot into the zone. Tries to set up Ducharme, but it's blocked by the RPI defense. Askew knocks it down. Can't get it out. Now Cuthbert skates it through center. Matthews flips it in to Pasco. 2 men back. Shot. Stop. Rebound just wide of the net. Pasco got the second shot past Thomas, but it was wide. Pasco battling with Vermont behind the net. Now here comes Ducharme. Tries to set up Pattison. Did not touch his stick, so icing called. The face-off coming back down into the Vermont end. Minute 59 to go in the second period.
Ron Pasco again with a golden scoring opportunity right down in front of Tim Thomas. Thomas made the first save, but the rebound came right back out on Ronnie Pasco's stick, and the second shot went just behind Tim Thomas, just missed the far post.
He has had a lot of chances, and you keep getting chances like that, you're going to get a goal.
Here we see it right here. Pasco coming down the right wing, is off the wing. Shot is stopped by Thomas. The rebound right back out through the pads, it looks like, and just wide. And good hard work by Ronnie Pasco created that scoring opportunity.
Mike Gilligan a little upset that last icing call. It did look like the Vermont player touched it on the other side of the red line.
Yeah, I thought Pattison might have tipped it with the stick, but that's not the case. Gilligan gave the referee an earful, but of course you never win that one. Here comes RPI trying to get out of their zone. Here's Wayne Clark down the right wing. Wines fires, glove save by Thomas. That one would have been wide, from our angle anyway. But nonetheless, a stop Thomas had to make. 1:37 to go in the period, still tied at 1.
Well, if you're Vermont, you got to feel pretty good. You're in a 1-1 tie, and the other guy's building, and you're kind of dominating the play right now. So they're probably feeling that, hey, this is our game to win right here. And on the other hand, RPI must be feeling that, hey, we got to get it going. If this is our building, why are we getting outplayed here?
Well, we'll see what the Engineers, what adjustments, if any, they make between periods. It's almost down to a 20-minute game. Minute and a half to go here.
Jim, the Engineers just 7-5 in this building this year, and they're 8-1-2 on the road. They've been having a lot of trouble in this building all year long, and that defies the odds.
And they've lost some games that people just didn't expect them to lose. It's one thing if a Harvard comes in here and beats you.
Yep.
But they've, lost to St. Lawrence, and they shouldn't have lost to them. Dartmouth gave them trouble last night after they jumped to the big lead. They allowed Dartmouth to get back in the game in the third period.
I got no answer.
If you did, you'd still be coaching, right? Minute 20 to go.
We're going to have matching penalties, I believe. It looks like there'll be a hold and against Jeff Gabriel of RPI, and then a rough against Bill Lincoln, I believe, of Vermont.
Yeah, it's Lincoln and Gabriel going off. Again, no loss in manpower on the ice for the final minute 21 of this second period.
You know, with 1:21 to go, as we look ahead into the third period, we still got some time to go here, but I mean, this is probably one of the critical periods for Vermont that'll play all year. If they could win this game and come out of the weekend with 3 points, they'd be pretty happy. Conversely, if they lost this game getting 1 point, that means that RPI put some distance on them, and so did the other teams that were in front of them.
And of course, for Vermont, too, I mean, this is the fourth of 4 consecutive road games, and they haven't been beaten yet. They had the 2 wins last week. Here comes Hamlin. He skated off the puck, however, and Vermont able to clear. Final minute of play here in the second period. Vermont swept the road trip last week and then got the tie last night at Union, so they'd love to get a win here. And of course, we mentioned how important it is for RPI. Lazell back to play it now, down to 40 seconds to go in the period. Ducharme forechecking. The Engineers will get this out of the zone. No, they won't. Intercepted by Pattison. He winds, fires it wide of the net. Clark throws it to the Vermont line. Pascoe takes a hit. He goes down with Larkin. And we get a whistle. And we're going to get a roughing call on Mike Larkin. So RPI is going to go on the power play for the final 19 seconds of this second period.
Well, it probably won't do much with these 19 seconds, but that's something to look forward to at the beginning of the third period for RPI.
See if we get another look. Pascoe took a hit from Larkin. But frankly, I didn't see where there was a rough involved, but
no,
we'll take another look at it.
It's just a check at the blue line. I thought...
Well, maybe it's interference.
Yeah, that's what I thought he might call would be interference.
I thought he put the arm out straight, the referee did, but in any case,
yeah,
sometimes the referees,
they don't really, they know it's a penalty and they make the wrong signal, but that was an interference anyway. And also, a guy like Larkin, who tends to get a lot of penalties, sometimes your reputation doesn't help you. You get involved with a close one, they send you off.
1941, the time of that penalty. Hamlin between Brick and Regan with Roshan and Richardson. And RPI wins it and dumps it in. Thomas stops it behind his net, 10 seconds to go. Engineers pressing, trying to get one shot, but they're not going to do it as Vermont clears, and the period will expire. Only goal of the second period came from Vermont's Nick Perreault. He scored it at the 3:40 mark, his 15th of the year. That offset Wayne Clark's first period power play goal by RPI. And we played 40 minutes here at Big Red Freakout, 1994. End of 2. Rensselaer 1 and Vermont 1. Let's go downstairs to Ed Day.
Thank you, Jim. Terrific game and a terrific night here. 5,217 plus, sold out Houston Fieldhouse. At the end, the RPI pep band in full force tonight. They are integral to this event. Here's more about them.
What's the driving force behind Rensselaer's hockey team? Is it the power play, speed, forechecking, or is it really the pep band? Well, it seems there's no shortage of enthusiasm in this rather ragtag band of everything from trumpets to tubas. Creativity is a plus with this group when you remember the pep band members get free hockey tickets. These close to 50 musicians are guardians of fun, crazy antics, and the Rensselaer spirit.
Without the band, I think, is a lot of the heart. I mean, we all have a lot of heart, and we all give it our all when we're there, screaming, yelling. You'll see half of us down at the end of the ice, you know, just busting on the goalie, and it's just a lot of fun. I think the hockey team is a lot of the spirit of RPI because it's something to root for, but Pep Man, we're there to have a good time.
Although they sound great, this is not an elitist group of musicians.
We try and get everybody in the pep band. Whoever wants to be, we're like, oh, you can't play an instrument? Come play percussion. Yeah, come on. So, you know, we usually just try and get people who want to have a good time, and people who want to have a good time come search us out because they see us at the hockey games just having, you know, a wild time down there.
The pep band does have a few trademarks, and they're really quite noticeable.
There's a guy in the alto sax section who always wears this bright red wig. You know, that's just something, it's something that he does because that's the way he is.
And then there are the rather unique musicians themselves.
We call him the psycho sousaphone player, sorry. He's just crazy, he'll just do anything.
Preparation for the Big Red Freakout is part of the pep band's tradition.
The Freakout's the best, so we all get together usually beforehand and have a big dinner before the Freakout. Lasagna dinner, yes. And we have a great time and paint our faces, and we just have a great time with it. Everybody has red faces, red, white faces, different designs, and usually a Freakout is just phenomenal. We usually just have a great time, so I guess that's now, right? It would be, but it's a great game.
What the Vermont goalie Thomas is going to have to contend with. He will be right in front of the pep band in the third period. We're tied at 1 at the end of 2 on a cold night in Troy. Hope it's warmer where you are. Here's where you are.
Now let's take one more trip around the country to check in on our alumni gatherings. The latest report is in from the gang having a great time at Willie's Sports Bar in Cincinnati and at the Varsity Grill Sports Bar in Portland, Maine. Everyone's having fun at Mr. Joe's in Detroit and at the Clark Bar and Grill in Pittsburgh. Everyone is catching up on the old days at Legends Restaurant and Sports Bar in Los Angeles and at Spectators in northern New Jersey. Word has it, it's a fun-loving group at the Players Sports Bar in Orlando, Florida, and at the Coach's Corner in Hartford, Connecticut. They're all having fun at the Scoreboard OT Sports Bar and Grill in Houston and Legends in Orange County, California. The latest report from the Big Apple is all fun in New York City at the Sporting Club. The latest word from the Scoreboard in Minneapolis and from the Home Plate in Littleton, Massachusetts is everyone is having a great time. Now, back to all the excitement of the Big Red Freakout, live via satellite from Troy.
1-1 at the end of 2, tied on a terrific goal by Nicholas Perreault. A great move on Neil Little right in front of him. He's the Vermont captain and the heart of the team. Here's more about Nicholas Perreault.
Being captain is a lot of responsibilities. I mean, it doesn't look like, but I mean, you got to take care of all the stuff outside the rink, and but on the ice too. I mean, you got to play always at 100%. But it has been great since the beginning. I mean, we had a hard time the first 5 games. We haven't won, but we have 2 new players from Quebec who can really put the puck in the net, and we have really a lot of depth in forwards. We have 4 great lines that are really exciting. It makes a really exciting hockey, and it's really a fast hockey and skill hockey. We're only 3 seniors, and the most of the bodies is just juniors and sophomores. It's going to be great for the Cup for the next years because, I mean, those guys are really good, and since the defense and the goalie is really young, too, I mean, I'm going to see those guys really go far. But we're going to try to do that this year at first. Academically, my first year was pretty hard because I speak French, and I took some classes like mathematics and other stuff. It would be easier for me the first semester. But after that, everything was great, and you get tutoring if you have problems, but I didn't have problems, and I kept doing along fine. And, I'm going to be graduating with 2 majors this year, geography and physical education. And if I don't do well in hockey, I might go to graduate school or might be a teacher. I know a lot of people from, the team, people from Minnesota and people from Michigan. Their parents are going to be watching that. And that's really important to stay in touch, with the alumni and the hockey team. And I think it's going to be great because it's going to bring back some memories to the alumni people, the students that were here before. And they're going to see how UVM has progressed in hockey. Because we were Division II, then they started to be Division I. Now we're like really strong in Division I. And I mean, that's great that alumni group do that. And against RPI, it's going to be fun because, I mean, we always have intensity against those teams, and they have a good team this year. And it's going to be a great game for them to watch and to see how the University of Vermont is doing.
Nick Perreault, captain of the Vermont team, scored the tying goal in the second period, but he'll be worrying about killing a penalty as the third begins. Both alumni presidents are with us tonight from UVM and RPI. Let's introduce them to you. Here they are.
Good
Good evening. I'm Sally Hackett, President of UVM Alumni Association, and I'm so pleased to be a part of this wonderful evening that's bringing together a record number of UVM alums and friends and parents, literally coast to coast. And a special thank you to those who work so hard to coordinate this unique event. As you're watching the UVM Catamounts, I hope you're recalling your days on campus, and I hope you're planning a return visit to Vermont. June 2nd through June 5th is Reunion UVM 94, and it's a wonderful time to reconnect with your friends and classmates and to experience UVM today, your UVM. Enjoy the game and send a special cheer to the UVM Catamounts.
Hello everyone, I'm Jay Webb, class of 61 and president of the Rensselaer Alumni Association. Welcome to our satellite broadcast of the Big Red Freakout. I would like to offer special thanks to our site hosts. You are part of the over 1,000 alumni at host sites in 34 cities. Your Alumni Association is happy to sponsor this event as one of the many activities we promote in support of Rensselaer. As many of you know, our alumni help with recruiting, student mentoring, medal receptions, job placement, and arrange social events including reunions. You might find that it's fun to give us a hand. Enjoy the game and let's go Red.
Just a little bias, 1-1 between the second and third periods, RPI Vermont tied. Both having good hockey seasons, but let me tell you, UVM is having a terrific year in basketball, both men's and women's. Here's more about it.
Dick Whittier, the Director of Sports Information at the University of Vermont. And the highlight this winter has been Eddie Benton's capturing the headlines locally, regionally, and nationally. Benton, the nation's leading scorer at 28.8 points a game, scored his 1,000th point recently and became the third player in NCAA history to accomplish that feat. The other two players, familiar names, Mike Jaminski, who did it at Duke, and the Shack, who did it at LSU. And also one of the top players in the nation is All-American Sherry Turnbull. For the women, she needs only 16 points going into this weekend to become UVM's all-time leading scorer. She will surpass Joanne McKay's record of 1,833 points. So as you can see, the men and women basketball teams are giving a lot of fans a lot of excitement in Burlington, Vermont.
RPI's basketball team is a power this year, not probably having as great a year as they did last year, but we know they're here. We also know the Catholic Memorial is around because the coach and two players on the ice tonight went to that school. What is that school? I don't know, but we're about to find out together.
How does a hockey tradition start at Rensselaer? Well, no one is really sure, but one answer may be this small high school, Catholic Memorial, just outside Boston.
It's my feeling that I think kids want discipline and they want some structure. And I think that at a place like Catholic Memorial, it's not a stifling type discipline, it's just they want some order. And I think when you get order, you get a better chance to have a learning environment.
These may only be peewee-sized players, but there's a good chance they may be Rensselaer hockey players of the future. That's how right-wing Tim Regan and defenseman Chris Kiley started. And by the way, that's how Rensselaer coach Buddy Powers started. They're all graduates of Boston's Catholic Memorial.
Let's see, there he is.
Francis Powers.
Francis, wow.
Actually, I was approached early in my high school season by Coach Powers, and he told me a little about RPI, which I got interested, and I just ended up visiting the school, and I thought it was the right mix of academics and athletics.
I was most impressed with the coaching staff. They were really nice and warm, and they were straight with you and told it how it was, told it like it was, and they were honest with you.
Catholic Memorial outside of Boston, which did get hit with yesterday's snow. Troy got a little, Burlington got none at all, supposedly. We have a feature for you on the UVM campus. Let's see when it was shot, because if it's at all recent, the snow should be about this high. UVM.
The old mill building with its cornerstone laid by the Marquis de Lafayette, Mount Mansfield, and the sun rising behind it. Images of learning, founded in 1791. The motto in Latin, studiis et rebus honestis, to be dedicated to worthwhile studies and practical things.
Universitas is the Latin word for university, viritus, which means green. So this is the university of the Green Mountain.
It's clear, however you define the challenges of civilization today, anywhere on the globe, that inquiry, research, scholarship, interpretation, explanation, education, learning, development, that those things are fundamental. That the world is moving so fast that we can't take the risk of waiting for solutions to evolve. The place is being revolutionized, but the metronome that keeps the beat is still the basic small-town Vermont historical metronome. Most states have more than one comprehensive research university. Vermont has one. And so all of the ways in which a university can serve the needs of the state are on our agenda. All of a piece. It's a large systemic challenge that we face, and the courage to go on with the campaign is to say we take that seriously and we require investment. We simply can't do what we're capable of doing.
When institutions are founded and then develop, I think that their identity is defined and continues to be defined.
Separate, independent, courageous, feisty, show me, we can do it ourselves, and we'll meet the future more than halfway. But we'll also demand that it deal with us.
Beautiful campus in the fall, but it's solid white now, as is everything in Troy, including the new Ned Harkness Field about 30 yards that way. Stan Landgraf is with me. Are we funded this field completely?
Yes, I'm very pleased to report that we have reached the $2.4 million level, and this will permit the school to move forward to break ground with a ceremony on Saturday, April 9th. And we hope to have the field completed and ready for action when the students return to campus in the fall.
What sports will be played there?
Interscholastic track, of course, is along with the field. Soccer and lacrosse will be played there. And also a lot of the intramural sports will also be there. So it's going to be used universally by this campus constituency.
I'm looking forward to the lacrosse teams up and coming here at RPI.
Oh, yes. And having a field like this will really help the practice time for all of the sports and all of the youngsters.
You had a lot to do with it. Thank you.
I want to thank all of the alumni for their contributions. They're important to us.
Oh, are they ever? Thank you, Stan Landgraf. Enjoy the rest of the game. Everyone here is 1-1 tie. It's a freak out. And Dan Levy's going to tell you more about it.
There's probably no way to describe it. Although some may say it's madness and others fanaticism to the umpteenth degree, here at Houston Fieldhouse for the 17th time, it's simply known as the Big Red Freakout.
Big Red Freakout's where everybody at RPI comes and freaks out. All the other games, we do nothing.
But nothing is simply out of the question tonight. Even the band plays to the beat of a different drummer. And if you root for Vermont, you sit in a seat you'd consider a bummer. That's the way you're treated when you wear a UVM hat, you know.
Exactly right. We're definitely in the minority here, but I had to do it.
As you can tell, it's the biggest, it's the reddest, and it is the freakiest. Ed, I'm getting out of here while my eardrums still work. Back to you.
All right, and let's go. Third period action underway with the 1-1 tie. And RPI controls the puck at center ice. Brian Richardson in his own zone. Carries through center to the Vermont line. Bumped off the play, and Craig Hamlin controls. RPI having trouble penetrating the blue line here in the opening minute. Now Richardson dumps it in. RPI chases, but the play offside. The faceoff will come back out. Vermont doing a good job of still a minute to go in this RPI man advantage that carries over from the second period. Letty intercepts that centering pass and throws it down right on goal. Little has to stop and leave it for Askew. 50 seconds left in the man advantage. Askew on the right wing to Magic. Carries across. And has it intercepted by Jason Williams.
They're just not putting it in deep, and Vermont's taking it away at the blue line.
Here's Askew again coming through center. His pass off the skate of Eberle. Hamlin has to come back for it. Half a minute to go on the power play. RPI not able to get anything going here in the opening minutes. Perreault chases down for Vermont. He takes the hit from Askew. Magic picks up the loose puck. Here's RPI, one last rush with the man advantage. Askew, or rather Magic to the line, drops for Hamlin. Cross ice, Clark, his shot blocked by the defense. Jason Williams with a good individual effort to get the puck to center. Clark dumps it in. RPI changes up. Penalty has expired. Team's back at full strength. Here's Eberle at the line. He was in all alone. Vermont's going to change up, so Eberle just dumped it in and then went off. Brian Richardson for RPI. Ahead to Brick. Brick to the line. Wines, fires it, has it blocked. Fed back out to center. Here's Perron. His pass intercepted. Brick turns and goes the other way for RPI. Down the right wing. Cuts to the top of the circle. His shot blocked. Regan's backhander up high over the net. Richardson ridden off the play by Patterson. He throws to center. Lazell runs it down for RPI. Here's Richardson to the circle. Shot in front.
I think on the replay we'll see that Brian Richardson was trying to throw that across for Timmy Regan. And it went off the defenseman and beat the goaltender cleanly. Jonathan Borg was on defense. It looks like Richardson wants to send it over to Timmy Regan. It's wide open. It hits Borg, deflects off him, and goes by the goaltender.
He was definitely trying to get it over there. The 2-on-1.
Right between the legs.
No chance.
Brian Richardson will get the goal, but that, I believe, was a pass.
Brian Richardson's 16th of the year. As you called it, it went off the body of defenseman Jonathan Sorg and right between the legs of Tim Thomas. And Coach, you know, when you go into a third period tied, that first goal is very, very important. So that's a big lift for RPI.
Especially here, you know, they feel that this has got to be their game, and they don't want to be playing from behind here. So, but the way Vermont's carrying the play, I mean, we've got a long way to go. I mean, that was a 2-on-1 that kind of was a broken play. It went in. I mean, it's a good goal, but he was trying to make the pass, and it bounced off the defenseman's leg. Well, we got a long way to go. This period just started.
Certainly, as we've got a delay here before the face-off, as the referee is being called over to the
I think somebody threw some stuff on the ice. I don't know. You can get a penalty for that. You keep that up. They've done it a few times.
It happened after the first goal. There wasn't as much. If there was anything here this time, it wasn't as much as after the first period goal. So RPI gets the 2-1 lead on Brian Richardson's 16th of the year.
Jim, it'll be interesting to see how Vermont reacts to that. As you said, they've been carrying the play for quite a while now, and it thoroughly killed off that power play, and now they a freak goal puts them down by a goal.
Well, they did a stellar job on the power play. I mean, killing man-down situation. But if it happened much later, I think it would bother them. I think they know they got a lot of hockey left to play yet.
Off the face-off, RPI dumps it in. Crowd warned here before the face-off. Anything more on the ice, then RPI will be assessed a penalty.
Loose puck in the corner. Players fall on top of it. It's underneath Ron Pasco. Face-off called. Circle to the left of Tim Thomas.
You know, that in-between period stuff when they were interviewing a couple of people, the last Vermont person they ended is, I noticed he was a former UVM hockey player, Owen Jenkins, pretty good defenseman for me many, many years ago, and he lived in the Albany area, so he's come back down to watch them play. But it's funny to see him there. I haven't seen him for a few years and catch him on the tube.
Well, you know where his seat is, and it's not a good one. Dominique Ducharme going to take the draw for the Catamounts against Ron Pasco. Vermont controls. And now RPI holds it in at the line. Pass hit the linesman. Now off a skate, and it rolls to Thomas. His clearing intercepted. Rolls to him. Pasco with a weak backhander. Thomas covered it up. We get some jamming in there now. Hallman and Pasco and Matthews.
Catamounts just a little bit sloppy with the puck.
That was one of the that's a good observation, because that's one of the first times that they have kind of, without under a lot of pressure, they kind of coughed it up.
Well, Thomas, when he's been clearing it, has been going to the boards to his left and his right. That time he tried to come up the zone and didn't get it out. Pasco knocked it down, put a weak backhander on net, and Thomas had to cover up the rebound. Here's a drop pass behind Matthews, interrupting that RPI chance as the puck rolls down to the engineer zone and now swatted back out the center. Battling in front of the RPI bench. Lazell takes a hit. Puck still loose. Pasco can't find it. Now he does. Tries to drop it in, but it's intercepted at the Vermont line by Jason Williams. And now here comes Perreault. He loses the puck. And RPI throws to center. And right back in and right back out.
You know, twice in a row, you had the RPI player trying to dump it. It was stopped by the Vermont player, then vice versa. That drives the coach nuts. He says the rink's 85 feet wide. Can't you find a hole and get it in there?
From up here, it looks like there's a lot of them, but obviously we got angles they don't have. John Perrong swings it back to his defense partner, Brad Lazell. Lazell tries to get it up out of the zone. He does. Cross-ice pass to Clark. Clark to the Vermont line. Drops for Hamlin. Hamlin tries to set up Gabriel off his skate into the corner, now behind the net. Jason Williams comes right out in front of his goaltender. Carrying the puck, he's dumped. Hamlin goes down. Penalty coming up on Craig Hamlin. And RPI is going to be a man short. Vermont goes on the power play. Almost a dangerous move by Jason Williams, the defenseman, carrying the puck. He turned from behind his own net, came right up the chute in front of his goaltender, but he was hauled down by Craig Hamlin. There you see it, Hamlin coming in from the side, number 14 in white. And haul him down.
And it turned out a good play for him because he drew a penalty. Yep.
And Hamlin's all over him from behind, and just one hook too many. It took him to the ice, and that's not a good play by Hamlin when the Engineers up by a goal.
Yeah, and you know, he's not even near his net, so you know you don't want to. Generally, when you get a penalty down around your net, you got an excuse for it. You don't want him to get a good shot. But
when you're a defenseman carrying the puck up there, you better make something happen. So we'll pick up the Vermont power play unit. It's their first line, Ducharme. With Perreault on the right.
Oh, look at this.
San Luis, his backhander stopped by Little. And we get a whistle. A quick whistle as that puck was not stopped, but not frozen by Neil Little.
San Luis just outraced the RPI defenseman to the puck. I think it was Patrick Rochon back there, and got a shot off on Neil Little and almost beat him between the pads.
Yeah, they were going through the neutral zone awfully fast there, and RPI didn't do much to slow them down.
Ducharme's between Perreault and San Luis with Perron on the right point, Larkin on the left. We'll pick up the RPI penalty killers as we go. Vermont controls, can't keep it in the zone. Askew tripped up as he tries to break out. Crowd looking for a call. Here's a shot fired wide by Askew. Thomas caught way out of the net. He puts his hands up on his head. He knew he made a mistake there. And Kelly Askew fired it wide of the empty net.
That could be the biggest break of the night. We'll see at the end of the night.
Minute 22 to go in the Vermont penalty, or in the RPI penalty, I beg your pardon, the Catamount power play. Here's Ducharme walking in, behind the net, tries to wrap around, doesn't take the shot. Larkin, right point, Perron, risks it in, kicked aside by Little. Rebound controlled by Vermont in the corner. Now behind the net. Centering pass off a Larkin skate. Pasco gets it, comes out with Askew, 2-on-2. Beats Askew, shot! Save by Thomas! Beautiful setup between Pasco and Kelly Askew, and Tim Thomas again with a great glove hand save along the goal line.
And they say speed kills, Jim, but and that's what you'll see with Kelly Askew.
This is the blown shot before when Thomas got caught way out of the net there.
And Askew's just got to be dying at that point. He had a wide open net and missed it. Now here's Ronnie Pasco coming down the right wing. Kelly Askew streaking down the slot. Here's the pass. Askew goes to the backhand. But the goaltender got down and got his glove on the puck and just kept it out of the net. Kelly Askew with 2 goals and scoring.
He has had more chances. You know, it's interesting, though. One of these times they're going to get Thomas down and they're going to get the puck up because, you know, in fairness to Thomas, he has to go down because he's caught in an awkward position going from side to side. He made great saves, but if any of those RPI players had been able to get the shot up, they would have had a goal.
Vermont's got something in question here because Mike Gilligan had one of the referees over to the bench, and Nick Perreault, the Vermont captain, was getting the ear of the other one. About what they're talking, I don't know.
Well, I wonder, it might have been about why there was a whistle. I didn't know why there was a whistle, so the face-off is in Vermont's end. That's not good when you're down a man on a power play, so I don't know what the whistle was for.
Vermont controls. They've got 50 seconds to go in the man advantage. Perreault throws to center. His pass is blocked. Now he gets it back. Backhands it up to the line, but again, blocked by the RPI defense. And here's Perardi sweeping it in to the Vermont zone. He takes a run at Larkin, bangs him. They go into the corner. Larkin falls. Perardi kicks the puck ahead. Tries to center. Good chance there, but the puck kicked out to the blue line.
Who's on the power play here?
According to the scoreboard, it's the Vermont Catamounts. They've got 20 seconds left in it. Magic with a heavy hit on Perron. San Luis with a heavy hit on Magic. And here's Ducharme through center. Left wing pass to Perreault. Down into the corner. Stops. Tries to center, knocked away by RPI. Larkin keeps it in. Ducharme along the left wing boards. Penalty is over. Richardson is back for RPI. Team's at full strength. San Luis behind the net. Throws it out front. Regan intercepts. Tim Regan skates out for RPI. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Regan down the left wing has it stripped nicely by Perron. And San Luis throws it, has it knocked away. Now he backs it down to the RPI zone. Vermont will change up. And we get a whistle.
And as you've been saying, Jim Cross, most of the last 30 minutes of this hockey game has been controlled by Vermont, except when they're on the power play. The Engineers have had most of the scoring opportunities.
One guy seems to be doing it for RPI. Pasco is unbelievable on these man-down situations. But you know, when you think back to that shot was missed in the open net, what a turnaround that would have been. You're down a man, you're up 2-1. All of a sudden, while you're killing a penalty, you go up 3-1 on an easy goal. That was, Vermont dodged a bullet there.
Here's Jason Williams for the Catamounts. Headmans to Lavoie. Lavoie comes in all the way down. Shot over the top of the net. Little might have gotten a piece of it. It gets caught up in the twine behind the goal, and we get the whistle.
What a nice pass by Lavoie to set up that scoring opportunity as he just put it between the defenseman's skates.
Beautiful pass.
Right on the stick.
The shot was stopped. I think Little got a piece of it. It went up over the top of the crossbar and bounced off the glass behind and into the twine. So the faceoff comes outside the zone. 13-16 to go in the third period. RPI with a 2-1 lead on the goal early on by Brian Richardson. Vermont's got their fourth line now. Eberle with Ruide and Lavoie. They win the draw. Goes right to Little. He leaves for Lazelle. He'll set up the RPI breakout. Vermont forecheckers in deep. RPI comes up into center ice. Hamlin carries. Cuts to the slot. Backhander wide of the net. Hamlin on his knees controls the puck. Right point. Bartel one time. Thomas got a piece of it. Deflected it wide. Lazelle pinches. Keeps it deep in the corner. Hamlin overskates. Clark battling for it with Eberle. Clark, Eberle. Hamlin and Jason Williams. Clark controls. Left point. Lazelle one time. Wide of the net. And up and on the twine behind the cage, we get the whistle and another faceoff. 12:35 left. RPI definitely picking it up here in the third period. Everything Vermont did in the second here in terms of intensity and.
Exactly, we were talking about that, how it flows back and forth. One team seems to get that kind of momentum going, and the puck seems to bounce their way. They seem to get the checks. And then all of a sudden it seems to go the other way, and there's no reason for it. They're both trying as hard as they can.
Roshan drives that one in, rebound comes out, shot stopped by the defense in front. Jonathan Sorg rather, with the diving stop before it got to Thomas. Lincoln tries to carry in for RPI, puck high up in the air, bounces down at the Vermont line. Roshan intercepts at center ice. And Sorg plays to the RPI line. Cam Cuthbert drives it out.
Oh, there's a break.
Here's Lincoln. He's the only Vermont player in the zone, though. He blinds and fires, and Little stops it. 1-on-4, he took the drive and then went off on a change. Puck comes flying into Little. He makes the glove hand save. We got a little pushing and shoving after the whistle. Cuthbert and Patterson getting the sticks up a little bit. Play stopped with 11:51 left.
A lot of exchange of the puck and a lot of checking going on in the center ice zone, and that's where we've seen a couple of breaks where the puck has been deflected and it sent one man in alone, and that could be something that could determine the outcome of this game with these.
Absolutely. The neutral zone play has not been that tight. As you're saying, they shoot a pass up and just bounces one way. All of a sudden, there's an uncovered wing. He breaks in. They're not what you'd call wings on wings in the neutral zone.
Vermont controlled the draw. The shot went wide, and the puck flew out to center ice. Now along the far boards, Matthews battling. Puck off the skate of Bartel. Ducharme throws it to the RPI end. Bartel and Lazell play catch. Lazell tries to carry out, gets it to center. He's taken down. Larkin throws it to the middle of the rink where there's nobody there. Bartel picks it up and dumps it in for RPI. Here come the Catamounts through center. Tried to send Patterson away. Puck off his skate, rolled to the backboards where Little played it ahead. Cross-ice pass to Matthews at the Vermont line. He makes a spin on McKell to the goal line. Askew shot blocked by the defense. Larkin made the stop there on Kelly Askew. Patterson sweeps it out. And Jeff O'Connor plays at center for RPI. Throws to an empty wing. Larkin ahead. By Cuthbert, it rolls to Little. He comes out and covers it up, and we get the whistle.
That sometimes can be called a penalty. It's another thing they never do call it, though. You're not supposed to cover the puck out, and that you're protected in that area from the face-off dots back, but you're not supposed to cover the puck out there, but the referees never call it.
10:45 to go, third period. RPI with a 2-1 lead. Eric Perron on with Martin St. Louis on his right, Dale Patterson on his left. The Magic line out for RPI. Xavier Magic centering Jeff O'Connor and Eric Perardi. And Magic thrown out now, so O'Connor's going to come in to take the draw. Perron wins it. St. Louis with the puck. Through the circle. Looking to center. Goes behind the net. Leaves it behind the net. Perardi picks it up for the Engineers. And he flips to center and all the way down. Thomas lets it go. Icing called. Face-off to come back in the RPI end.
Well, there's a case now. I think if you see a team that's looking at the scoreboard and they say there's 10 minutes to go in this game and I'm kind of trapped down deep, I'm going to flip it out. He didn't intend to get the icing, but he also wasn't going to try to make the pass. He was going to say, I'm going to get it out of this zone. So you'll probably see a lot more that RPI, if they don't have the definite pass, flip it into the center to the neutral zone just to get it out. On the other hand, you notice Vermont now, when they get the puck in their end, their forwards are taking off like a bullet, and they're trying to hit it with a long pass up the middle.
Sorg off the face-off. As his shot gets through to Little, it's kicked up into the crowd behind the net. And they'll do it again in the circle to the right of RPI goaltender Neil Little. Vermont outshot the Engineers 28-23 through 2 periods. And they have about a 5-3 edge here in the third period, so 33-26 the shots. Contrast to the game up in Gutterson 2 weeks ago when RPI had a heavy shot advantage, I think something to the tune of 38-21. But of course, Vermont came back from 2 down in the third to tie that one up. Off the draw, Sorg shot wide of the net. McKell couldn't keep it in, his race for the puck. He goes down in a heap with O'Connor as he goes to the back boards. St. Louis over skates. Now it's swept in by Perardi. He kicks it away. Magic takes a swipe at it, goes toward the goal and covered up by Thomas. Now we get some jamming in front. We got jamming behind the net too.
Some good work by Perardi and O'Connor, though, along the boards to create that scoring opportunity and get the face-off to the right of Tim Thomas, and ideally, as you said, that's what the Engineers want to do. They want to keep the puck down in that zone, and they'll go about it any way they can at this point in the game with about 10:05 left in the game, and they're clinging to a 2-1 lead.
We're going to have matching penalties here. Parardi is going to go off with Dale Patterson. They were the two jamming in front of goaltender Tim Thomas.
Eric Perrin won a couple of nice face-offs from Vermont down. They won them very cleanly, very good on the draw. And, you know, anytime you win those face-offs deep in the other end, you're going to get a decent shot on goal.
You see Mike Gilligan up there on the bench. Something was thrown on the ice, and the crowd had been warned after the last RPI goal that if anything else was thrown on the ice, the home team would be assessed a penalty. That's what Mike Gilligan wants here.
What if a Vermont player, a person throws it out?
That's the problem. You can't tell who did it.
I think they generally would go by, you know, a lot of people throwing a lot of stuff out there, but individually it'd be tough. You could bring a guy on the bus to say, your job is throw something out there.
That's one of those warnings they hope they don't have to enforce. But we do have matching penalties. And so the teams with no manpower change, of course, skating 5 aside. Now halfway through this third period, 10 minutes to go. RPI with a 2-1 lead over the Vermont Catamounts. Big Red Freakout 94. Here's Wayne Clark down the right wing boards. Makes a move around Sorg. Tries to set up Gabriel, but Sorg blocks it. The puck goes behind the net. Hamlin plays it for RPI into the left wing. He centers, knocked away by the defense. Perron couldn't keep it in the line, and here comes Bill Lincoln with Letty. Letty winds, fires. Blocker saved by Neil Little. Lincoln with the rebound, and he knocks it into the corner where Lazell plays it. Takes a hit from Letty. Lincoln over skates. Takes a heavy hit from Hamlin. And here comes Brad Lazell. 3-on-2 for RPI. Wayne Clark down the right wing to Lazell. He's bumped off the play.
There's a play.
Here comes Vermont the other way. They've got a 2-on-1. Johnson with Lincoln. Backhand score!
See that one coming.
Bill Lincoln on Abraham Lincoln's birthday gets the goal to tie it up.
And Neil Little appeared to go down a little bit early on that play, Jim Cross, and gave him the upper part of the net.
They had a clean 2-on-1, and you knew from center ice that they were going to have a good threat. It's pretty tough to blame the goalie on that, though. Yeah, he was at his mercy, really. He could do whatever he wanted.
Well, just before this 2-on-1, RPI had a 3-on-2, and they had a defenseman in the middle of it. So RPI was shy of defenseman back here.
And also on that 3-on-2, RPI did not execute well. They never actually crossed the line. The play was broken up at the blue line. That gave Vermont the opportunity to come back with a 2-on-1.
They had a defenseman in the center ice position. Adam Bartel was the trigger man on that 3-on-2. But Lincoln gets the goal, just his 4th of the year. And it comes at the at about the 10:50 mark. We'll get the official time here in a moment.
10:48, Jim, on the 2-on-1.
10:48, the time of that goal. Lincoln and Perreault, the goal scorers for the Catamounts. Clark and Richardson for the Engineers. We're 2-2 with 9:05 to go, third period. So Matt Johnson and Martin St. Louis get assists on the goal by Bill Lincoln that tied the score. Face-off coming now just outside the Vermont line. Richardson to draw against Perron. RPI controls. At the Vermont line, Rochon dumps it in. It rolls wide of Thomas. Puts a stick on it, but leaves it for the defense. Intercepted by Richardson out front. Brick tries to tee it up. He winds, fires right on. Thomas stops it. We get the whistle.
Oh,
Vermont's going to lose a player.
Yep.
Eric Hallman is going to go off as he leveled Tim Regan, or rather, was that Regan or Rochon? Tim Regan in front of the net.
Yeah, and then he kind of was all over him afterward. If he kind of rolled off, he might have got away with it.
So Eric Hallman, the Vermont defenseman, goes off, and RPI will go on the power play with 8:49 left in the third.
I think you're right, Jim, too. I think he was going to let the first hit go, but then when he didn't step back, I think Drew Taylor, the referee, felt he had to make a call.
And it landed right at his feet. The referee's looking down at it, so it was tough. But you know those calls, when you're hitting people, kind of that stuff goes on after the whistle, you either got to establish it early as a referee or you got to let it go. And it seems like they've let it go a little bit, and all of a sudden they call one.
Vermont has called their timeout now. Mike Gilligan down to the doorway, motioning for the referees, but he's not getting them over there, so he'll talk to his players. You see Gilligan staring across the ice, making the wave to the referee.
Mike, it ain't gonna work.
Looking for that next call, I think, Jim, isn't he?
Well, there's something to it, I'll tell you. You'll see what the next call goes.
Well, they're only human, so
that's exactly right.
With all the speed of both these teams,
and they can be influenced.
Jim, excuse me, all the speed of these two teams, the great scorers up front on both teams, it's become a goaltender's game. The only way they've been able to beat them is on 2-on-1s.
Yeah, exactly. You know, both goaltenders have played super. You really can't fault the goalies on any of the goals. It's been a great hockey game. It really has. These teams are pretty evenly matched. They tied up at Vermont, and right now here we are tied. So they're 6-6 through 2 games. You can't get much closer than that. I wonder if you were telling me about RPI's home record, I wonder if they're not pressing a little bit at home. Because sometimes the pucks are bouncing off their sticks on passes and everything. Sometimes you get a little pressing, you just get a little tight and not so relaxed. And maybe they're expected to win at home, and that puts added pressure on them.
Oh, there's the penalty, the cross-check to the back of the head of Regan. He didn't just take him down, he cross-checked him to the back of the helmet. So RPI on the power play, Vermont able to clear the zone. Back forward is Kelly Askew. He's on the point with Xavier Magic. Craig Hamlin up front between Ron Pascoe and Wayne Clark. Stolen by Perron. Good forechecking job by Eric Perron. Now RPI gets the puck back. Kelly Askew. Cross ice to Magic. Magic to the line. Carries in. He's upended. Gets back up. Pascoe centers. Shot for Clark. Docked by the defense. Magic controls. Askew keeps it in. This is Hamlin. Walks in. Down low. Clark comes out front. Tries to stuff. Rather, that's Pascoe trying to stuff. And Thomas makes the stop and gets the whistle.
Both these teams have done a great job killing off penalties tonight.
Actually, the penalty killing on both teams has turned into some offense. You know, particularly Pascoe. I think he must have had 4 good chances in man-down situations. That's good penalty killing. It's aggressive. You're not sitting back and you're trying to go after them and cause kind of a problem, and you're getting rewards for it. You're getting scoring opportunities.
Lincoln and Letty with Larkin and Williams, the Vermont penalty killers. Craig Hamlin along the far wing boards. Down low, Pascoe along the goal line. This is Hamlin. Pascoe and Hamlin in the corner. Now behind the net. Looking for Clark out front. Thomas got his stick in front of that shot. Here's Hamlin. Backhander kicked out by Thomas. Hamlin tried to tee it up again. Couldn't do it.
Delayed
another
penalty.
Penalty on RPI as Vermont clears the puck. Neil Little's going to go down and touch it, and we'll get the whistle. So just as Tim Thomas gets to the bench, he's going to turn and go back into the Vermont goal. RPI's going to lose a man. Their power play comes to an end. 46 seconds shy of the full 2 minutes.
What did we say about the next call?
It's a cross-check. We'll see if we can see it.
After the shot, I believe, as Vermont is skating out of the zone with the puck, we'll see.
I believe it's Cam Cuthbert who's in the box.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Ron Pascoe.
Yeah.
Cross-checking right in front of the goal.
Pascoe.
They were just kind of sparring, and you know, after some of the things we've seen, it was kind of a surprising call. But
Cuthbert already in the box. So each team down a man now.
A lot of room.
Here's Timmy Regan. On the off wing, tries to set up Richardson. His soft backhander stopped by Thomas at the side of the net. So there's a minute 44 to go on the Pascoe penalty. Just 29 seconds remaining on the Vermont penalty to Eric Holman. So in those 29 seconds, the Catamounts will go on the man advantage for about a minute and 15, something of that nature.
You know, Pascoe's, you know, the job he's done killing penalties all night now. Well, when Vermont goes on the power play, he won't be out there. So we'll see if that gives Vermont a little better chance, because he has been their nemesis.
Regan takes that draw, tries to win it forward, but McKell plays it for the Catamounts. Now Perreault to Matt Johnson. Johnson leaves for Perot. He's tied up a little bit, can't get right to the puck. Now he's got it. Sweeps behind the net, turns, comes out front. Shot blocked by defenseman Brad Lazell. Adam Bartel plays it for RPI. And now Lazell. 4 seconds left in the penalty to Hamlin, 2-1, and Vermont gets the extra skater on. They're now on the power play for 1:12. Mikkel sets up the breakout. Backhand pass to San Luis at center ice. Cross ice pass to Perron. He carries in, battles Roshan for the puck along the right wing boards. Ducharme joins the play, the puck underneath Patrick Roshan. We get the whistle for the stop. 6:30 to go in the third period, 56 seconds to go, and the penalty to Ron Pasco. Vermont on the power play. Cam Cuthbert comes out now for John Perron. Buddy Powers making a change on the blue line on this penalty kill unit. Roshan and Cuthbert on the blue line. Gabriel up front with Kelly Askew. Askew wins the draw. Gabriel controls along the far boards, and he dumps it down.
See the importance of winning those face-offs when you're man down in your own end. RPI won the face-off and easily cleared it out.
San Luis pass intercepted by a back-checking Askew. And now Roshan drives it all the way down. 30 seconds to go in the Vermont man advantage.
Oh, come on, you gotta move.
Larkin setting up behind his own net. Here's Perot dumping it in. Little plays the rebound off the backboards for Cuthbert. Ducharme takes it away from him, tries to get the pass out to the point, but it's intercepted by RPI and flipped to center. Perron throws it right back to the engineer line, and RPI drives it down. 5 seconds to go on the power play. RPI effectively killing this one off as the puck knocked down behind the Vermont goal. Ron Pasco is back, team's at full strength. 5.5 to go, third period. RPI with a 2-1 lead. Pasco intercepts at the line for Perardi on the left wing. Sends it in front for Magic, all the way through. And the loose puck behind the Vermont net. This is Mikkel coming out. Ahead to San Luis, he takes a bump, throws it to center. Here's Letty, right down the slot, he's tripped up, no call. Tries to get up, hit again. Puck rolls into the corner, now thrown in front and knocked away by the RPI defense. Cam Cuthbert throws it to an empty wing. Jason Williams dumps it down for Vermont. And RPI plays it back to center. This is Williams to the line. Shot wide of the net by Matt Johnson from the right circle. Rebound all the way out to the right wing boards. Here's RPI at center. Pasco, 1-on-2, tries to split the defense, can't do it. Jason Williams comes away with the puck. His clearing pass intercepted by Lazell at center. RPI comes back. They dump in. Engineers will change up. 4:30 to go in the third period. RPI holding the 2-1 lead. Lincoln flips to center. Roshan stops it at the red line and drives it back in. 2-2 score. I beg your pardon. RPI had the 2-1 lead for a good part of the third period, but of course Lincoln tied it, so we're at 2-2. 4 minutes to go. Loose puck rolling into the RPI zone. Bartel beats Eberle to it. Now Eberle has it down behind the engineered net. His back pass out front. Played by Little finally.
Vermont just seems to be all over it. Really, they're on every time they get the puck, there's a green shirt on them.
Headman pass to Richardson. He comes into the zone, top of the circle, spins now. Gives up the puck to Eberle. Eberle tries to send away Lavoie, but RPI breaks that up, and a back-checking Jeff Brick sends it the other way. Here's Richardson into the Vermont zone. Puck rolls down behind the goal. Lazell can't keep it in at the point, and it rolls all the way down to the RPI end. Vermont changing up. Cam Cuthbert back to get it. 3:15 to go in the third, game tied at 2. Cuthbert again gets his own pass back and sends it down. This one's going to go wide of the net, but but Thomas plays it. Kept in by Bartel. He sweeps it toward the net. Reagan into the corner. Magic taking a hit from Larkin. Perardi comes in. He takes a hit from Ducharme. Crowd wanting a penalty as Ducharme wrestled Perardi to the ground away from the puck, but there'll be no call. Finally, the puck blown dead underneath Xavier Magic.
In a 2-2 game that's been played this well all night long, I don't think you'll see a penalty short of manslaughter at this point, Jim.
Well, I don't think so. The referees have called a pretty good game. There's been a couple of calls on the icing. I think Mike had a good thing on the icing when he was complaining about it. But on the whole, they've done a pretty good job. And I think that it'd have to be, as you say, a pretty severe penalty to get one now. The one thing about this new rule that they put in a few years ago where you have to keep playing the puck and you can't tie it up against, sometimes it does lend itself to some problems when people get frustrated around that puck.
They draw one toward the Vermont net, puck loose behind their goal now. Matthews battling with Sorg in the far corner. Swept down to an empty corner now, and chasing it down is Jason Williams for the Catamounts. He flips it out to center. Pattison takes it away from Lazell. Lazell backed up on it. Pattison came in to play it, but couldn't make the play. And now Lazell has it at center to the Vermont line. His shot gets through to Thomas. He kicked it into the corner. Sorg plays it to Perron, who passed between the legs to San Luis. San Luis through center, off the boards, ahead to Pattison. Knocked back to center by RPI. Here's Matthews, down the left wing. He winds, fanned on the shot. Has to come back to the puck and play it into the corner. To Askew. Inside 2 minutes to go now, third period. Still tied at 2. Little with the pass out to the blue line. Up to Clark at the Vermont line. Knocked to center and now back in by the Engineers. 1:45 to go in the period. Vermont flips to center. Wayne Clark gets it for RPI. This is Hamlin. He dumps it in. RPI is going to chase, but Larkin will get to it before Gabriel. Larkin takes a hit from Gabriel, but Johnson's there to play the puck to Letty.
See, they're trying to break that long one.
Letty tries to get it to Lincoln, too far ahead of him. He's got to race down into the corner to get it, and an icing is called.
And they nearly hit that long pass to Lincoln. It just deflected off the stick, and you called it a while back, Jim, that they would be looking for that breakout as the Engineers are pinching their defensemen a little bit, trying to create the scoring opportunity.
Exactly, and Vermont, every time the forwards can see that the Vermont defenseman is clearly going to pick it up, they're not going to be under pressure, he's going to have a little space, they break, and they're trying to hit passes from deep down from the goal line up past the red line.
1:18 to go in regulation, we're tied at 2. RPI's got the Hamlin line out with Gabriel and Clark. Rochon and Cuthbert on defense. Vermont answering it with Ducharme. Pattison and Perreault, their top line. Ducharme wins the draw in his own zone. But RPI keeps it in. Here's Clark. Can't tee it up. Puck rolls into the far corner. Vermont gets control. Pattison ahead. His pass intercepted by Hamlin, who keeps it in to Clark in front. Gabriel couldn't tip it in as it goes to the near boards. Rochon can't keep it in at the line. 55 seconds to go in the period. We're tied at 2. Cuthbert at the RPI line. Fires it in.
Look out.
Engineers change up.
Whoa,
Puck
that was
in
a
front,
big
knocked to the
save.
side by Thomas. Cuthbert keeps it in at the point. In the far corner, Brick along the goal line, back behind the net to Regan. Lazell at the point.
Oh, there it is.
Blocked by Perreault. Here comes Pattison. Pattison in alone.
Penalty.
Penalty cup coming as he's ridden off the play. 20 seconds to go in the period. The delayed penalty. Here's Perreault. His shot deflected up into the crowd, and we get the whistle to stop play with 15 seconds to go. Vermont's going to get the penalty. The power play, they're looking for the penalty shot. They're not going to get that.
And if we can see on the replay here, from behind, Cuthbert had no choice but to try and hook him off the puck.
It was a clear hook.
But it was the only play he had to prevent the scoring opportunity.
And give the referee credit for calling him. A lot of them wouldn't do it. You know?
You're exactly right.
So Cuthbert goes off for hooking at 19:45, 15 seconds to go in regulation. And of course, if the Catamounts don't score, this power play does carry over into the 5-minute overtime session.
You know, that play, RPI had good possession. They played it back out to the point, and you could see there was a little action in front of the left point here, and instead of going down the corner where he would have definitely got it in deeper, he tried to go into the middle, forced it. They broke up the play and ended up with almost a 2-on-0.
Actually, you're right. Cam Cuthbert did a great job just to get back to the position where he could even make a hook.
Exactly.
Johnson takes the draw. He wins it. Lincoln gets it out to the point. Left side, Williams fires, saved by Little, loose puck in front. Pasco sweeps it to the boards. Williams pinches. Pasco can't find the puck. Now he sees it outside the zone as play runs out. Time expires here in the third period.
And that was two big saves by Neil Little right before the buzzer. The first shot came from far out through a screen. He made the save, and then the rebound came back out, and he had to go down and be sharp to stop that one, Jim, or this game would have been over.
We've got just a 2-minute break between the third period and the overtime session. Let's go quickly downstairs to Ed Day.
Thank you, Jim. Sudden death overtime coming up, tied at 2 at the end of 3. Remember 1985, RPI's championship year? The captain, the anchor on the defense, Kenny Hammond. If you don't remember him, here he is.
Out of the ice, Hammond's got skating room. He'll bring it ahead. Hammond over the blue line. Quick shot. Terreri goes wide.
The 1985 NCAA championship in Detroit, and the arena was filled with cheering fans. The night before, the Rensselaer team fought a bitter battle to win the berth in the finals, and now their moment of triumph. But this group of young players was something more than great athletes. They were very special people, like defenseman Ken Hammond, who recognized they didn't win the championship just for themselves.
George and Mary Lowe became very close friends with all the players on the hockey team, and it was a real sad moment when George Lowe passed away. All the players really took it personally and took it hard. And you know, I'm getting chills now just thinking about it, but it was still really tough to win the national championship and not have him there. And when we won it, everybody remembered that George was a part of it. Never even crossed my mind that I was going to play pro hockey. And subsequent years since then, you know, I went right to the NHL with Los Angeles, but I thought maybe I'd play 1 or 2 years. Here I am 10 years later, roommates with John Carter on the road. You know, we laugh about it every day. It's like, how far have we come? It's, you know, it's a boyhood dream to do something that gives you so much joy and get paid for it. You know, it's great.
Ken Hammond, we're tied at 2 at the end of regulation. 5-minute overtime coming up. Vermont will be on the power play. Tense time in the field house, Jim Brennan.
It certainly is, Ed Degg. 1:46 to go on that Vermont power play. No resurfacing of the ice, no changing sides. We just extend the third period here for another 5 minutes. As I said, 1:46 to go in the penalty for RPI. They'll have Askew, Bartel, Roshan as 3 of their 4 penalty killers, and Ron Pasco coming out as the 4th one.
Well, you know Pasco's going to be out there.
No, he's going to be there along with Vermont's big line. Their power play unit, Ducharme, centering Perreault and St. Louis with Perron and Larkin on the points. And here we go, 5 minutes. First goal wins it, of course. And Eric Perron dumps it in. Vermont will chase in the corner, now behind the net. Puck loose, Bartel gets it back for RPI, and he sends it out to Pasco. Pasco through center, 1-on-3. As the puck swept away and Thomas knocks it into the corner. Pasco looking for a face-off in the zone. Referee making him play the puck, and Vermont comes away with it. Eric Perron being hounded by Pasco as he gets it ahead off Perreault's skate down into the RPI end. Roshan gets there first, and he sends it back out to center. Mike Larkin dumps it to the RPI line. Perreault sweeps it in. RPI tries to get it out. Can't. Right on Perreault's stick. He can't get the shot up. Larkin tees it up. Wines, fires. Stopped by Neil Little at the top of the crease. St. Louis in front looking for the tip. I think the way he's shaking his stick, it looks like he didn't get it. Or if he did, he directed it right into the pads of Neil Little. Take another look at it. This will be Larkin teeing it up, and watch St. Louis come in, looking for the tip right there.
You can see some white space between the pads and Neil Little, too, and I think that's exactly where he wanted to try to put it.
Larkin's got a hard shot from the point. He is keeping it down. That's what you want to do.
55 seconds to go on the power play, 4:10 left in the overtime period. Score tied at 2, and right off the face-off we get another whistle. They're going to do that one again. Somebody moved a little quickly. Vermont on the power play. This, of course, carrying over from late in the third period. Cam Cuthbert in the penalty box for RPI.
Big draw here.
Xavier Magic to take the defensive draw for RPI. Dominique Ducharme, well, Magic was to take it. He's thrown out. Eric Perardi will come in and take the big defensive draw. Ducharme wins it for the Catamounts. Loose puck controlled by Perot. Perron knocks it away, but Perot gets control again. To the point, Larkin. His shot blocked by a scrolling Perardi and out the center. Good play, Eric Perardi. Perron banned on the pass, almost gave it up to Magic. Now he gets it back. Tries to send in San Luis, can't do it. Vermont comes in offside.
It's so important for the point shooter to get it by that man that's in front of him. You're so vulnerable when you hit that man. If you feel like it's going to hit him at all, dump it down along the boards. You at least got it in deep. But you don't want that rapid turnover at the point.
34 seconds left in the Vermont man advantage. 3:49 left in the overtime period, tied at 2. Patrick Rochon coming on the RPI defense now, replacing John Perron. Magic and Perardi up front. Magic against Johnson. RPI controls for a moment. But now the puck comes into their zone. Rochon chases it down, wraps it around the boards, trying to get it out. Kept in at the point by Hallman. And we get another whistle along the near boards. That puck went up into the crowd. Linesman coming back to get another one. Face-off looks like it's going to come outside the zone. 22 seconds left in the Vermont power play. 3:37 left in the overtime. Johnson against Askew. Vermont controls the draw. Jason Williams drives it down into the corner. Little will stop it behind the goal. Puck comes out front. It's loose in front. Finally, Rochon falls on it, trying to get a whistle, and does. Patrick Rochon tying it up. Actually, he never did. Puck came loose, but referee lost sight of it. And RPI got the whistle, which is what they wanted. 7 seconds now left in the penalty to Cuthbert. So Vermont will have one more shot off the draw here in the RPI end. 3:22 left in the overtime period.
That was a little bit of a scary situation as Neil Little came out of the net to make the save and then sort of misplayed the puck, and he was out of position and the puck was loose in the crease, and that's real dangerous.
Yeah, and you don't know where it's going to go. I mean, once he's done a good job. Both goalies have been staying in on the scrambles, but once you get out of there a little bit, that puck can bounce to the other side of the net, and you're in trouble.
Hallman from the point, San Luis in the circle. Top of the circle, Martin San Luis. One-timer. Oh. Whoa, deflected wide of the net. Hallman with a wicked shot from the point, deflected wide of the goal.
All even.
Penalty has expired. Team's back at full strength. Play thrown in offside, apparently. The face-off will come back out just outside the RPI line. 3:03 left in the overtime period.
And Rochon, I believe, tried to make the pass to center ice to Kelly Askew and send him in alone, but Askew was just about out of gas from having a long shift on that penalty kill.
You can tell when you see those legs, they're going, but he isn't going anywhere.
Cam Cuthbert, who's had the rest now, having served the penalty, comes back out on the ice. Vermont again wins the draw, and they dump it in immediately, and they'll chase. Less than 3 minutes to go in the overtime. RPI setting up its breakout. The Vermont forecheckers in deep, and Patterson steals. Has it retaken back, and now RPI flips to center, but Vermont controls. At the line, this is Patterson. Centering for, knocked away. Perot has it knocked away, and here comes Clark. Clark winds, fires from the line. It's blocked by Sorg, and the puck rolls behind the Vermont goal. 2:28 to go in the overtime period. Perot and Clark tying it up. Gabriel in, jamming for it. Puck gets loose. Clark goes down with Bakel. Puck underneath the two of them, but still not tied up. Finally, we get the whistle. 2:14 left in the overtime period.
Once again, Jim, the Catamounts have control of the flow of this game. The Engineers really aren't able to get their offense set up and get any real scoring opportunities.
The RPI is still having execution problems. That last play in the breakout, they threw their left wing out high, so it opened up the zone. They had a lot of space, but they just didn't execute some simple passes. Vermont was in a safety forecheck and took the puck away.
For RPI, of course, it's virtually a 3-minute overtime. The first two, they had to kill off that penalty, so they haven't had much chance to get their offense going here. A little more than 2 minutes, 2:10 to go.
That's a hand pass.
And we're going to get another whistle with the hand pass. Face-off will stay in the Vermont end. No, it'll come outside, I beg your pardon.
The wheels are turning. Both these coaches are trying to figure out a way to win this game. Maybe try to sneak a wing out high, do something. I don't think they'll be satisfied with a tie. They're not going to take chances, but they'd like to do something a little unusual and maybe break something.
Vermont winning most of the draws here in this overtime period. They won that one and have the puck now in the RPI end, but the Engineers have a chance to break out here. Brian Richardson through center, down the right wing boards. Centering pass, fanned on the shot was Tim Regan. Never got wood on it. Here comes Vermont the other way. Lincoln to center. He tries to dump it in, but it's blocked by the RPI defense. Now Jeff Brick, left side, top of the circle, and the play offside as Brian Richardson was held up deep in the Vermont end. He couldn't get out, and the play comes back out just outside the line. 1:39 to go in this overtime period.
What a nice transition pass by Timmy Regan at center ice. He knew exactly where Jeff Brick was. He intercepted the pass, just spun and put it right on his stick and sent him in.
Beautifully executed. It was unfortunate for RPI that which player was it that couldn't get out?
Brian Richardson.
He had been knocked down in the corner and just couldn't clear.
Another face-off won by Vermont here in the overtime. They flip it to center. Now to the RPI line. It's knocked down at the line and brought in offside. Eric Perron with the nice play, knocking down the clearing pass, but he was offside himself.
Does Perron win many face-offs? He's amazing.
He's won every one in this overtime period that he's taken.
And he won a lot in the game, too. And he wins them most of the time clean, draws them right back.
129. That time he tried to move on it and left the puck there. 1:25 to go in the overtime period. We're tied at 2. McKell drives it out of the zone. Lazell stops it and puts it right back in. But RPI delayed offside, so Pasco had to clear the zone. McKell behind his own net. Pasco forechecking. Clearing pass almost intercepted by Cuthbert. Hamlin leaves it, keeps it in. Puck trickles to Thomas. He sends it ahead to Patterson. Patterson over skates. Minute to go in the overtime period, tied at 2. McKell headmans to San Luis. He dumps it into the zone, but RPI clears immediately. Clark chasing McKell for it. Clark gets to it. He's bumped off the play. Jason Williams takes control of the puck, but he takes a heavy hit from Pasco. Puck up along the near boards in Vermont coming out.
It's a 3-on-2.
Here's Williams. Headmans to Patterson. Patterson to the circle. Shot way wide of the net. Little came out. Patterson was checked. Never got the shot on goal. Here's Pasco down the left wing boards. 30 seconds to go. Tries to center. Goes all the way through. Nobody there. Back checking. Patterson turns and goes the other way for Vermont. RPI makes a change. Brick comes on. Chasing Patterson. Goes around Cuthbert. Down along the goal line. Behind the net. Written into the off the play nicely by Cam Cuthbert. Perot picks up the loose puck. 15 seconds to go. Shot from the point. Blocked by RPI. Regan tries to run, but the Engineers can't clear the zone. Here's Perot. Now Roshan. 7 seconds to go. Wraps it around the boards. Time for one more shot if they can tee it up. Here's Brick. 3, 2, 1. Sticked aside by Thomas at the buzzer. That one would have gone wide anyway. And so it ends. 6-6 tie.
And a fitting finish, Jim, as you mentioned, these two teams are pretty evenly matched. Great speed up front, great goaltending all night long, and I think they'd play all night if they could. This is just a great matchup.
And it's 6-6 for 6 periods of hockey. Well, actually about 6.5, 5 minutes overtime down our place and 5 up here. They are pretty evenly matched. Not because I'm from Vermont, but I do feel Vermont had a little edge in the play, on the skating, a little more zip. It seemed like they seemed to have more bounce in their legs. Created some great scoring opportunities, but hey, it ended up an even game. That's what it was.
And the scoring opportunities that RPI got seemed to be a little bit more spectacular. Thomas had to make, certainly of the more spectacular looking saves, Thomas had them, but Vermont out shooting RPI 40-32 through the regulation. I don't know what the shots were in the third or in the overtime. We haven't gotten that yet, but in any event, Vermont outshoots RPI, so a turnaround from the game up in Burlington 2 weeks ago. And Neil Little couldn't really fault him on either of the 2 goals, especially the tying goal by Lincoln midway through the third period.
Yeah, both goalies were terrific. You couldn't fault them on any of the 4 goals. I thought it was a well-played game. The referees did a good job. It was a good game. Good game.
It's the kind of game both teams happy to come out with a point. Both teams feel like they could have gotten 2, however.
Yeah.
And so it's a bittersweet kind of thing. For RPI, they still have some hopes at catching Harvard for the regular season championship, but now Harvard was winning at last report, so they'll drop another point in all likelihood to Harvard and fall 5 back of them now with just 6 games to go.
And Vermont's still looking for home ice. They still feel they got a shot there. They really do. They've got 4 home games coming up, but they've got 4 tough games. They're playing Harvard, Brown, and Clarkson, 3 of those 4 teams. So they've got a tough road to hoe, but they're at least home, and they've had a good home record.
And this has been a good
4-game road trip for them. It's got to bode well. They picked up 4 points out of 4 last week and 2 out of 4 tonight, so 6 out of 8. They got to be happy with that.
And you're looking at the teams below Harvard, the next 6 teams. I mean, you can throw them up in the air and they can land any way you want. There's no determining at this point who's going to finish 2 through 7.
I agree. I do feel that from what I've seen this year that Harvard has the best team. But, you know, on a given night, anybody can be beat. But I think Harvard will win it. And as you say, from second on down, boy, that's a race.
Well, that's going to do it from up here high above the Houston Fieldhouse. Once again, the final score. The RPI Engineers 2 and the Vermont Catamounts 2. I'm Jim Brennan, thanking you for joining us, and my thanks to Al Shibley and Jim Cross. And let's go downstairs to Ed Day.
Thank you, Jim, and Al and Jim. Great call, great game. Too bad it had to end in a tie, but then everyone leaves. The Alumni Center's happy. No team won tonight. There was someone in the stands tonight. I didn't see him, but I know he's here because he's at every game. He attended RPI. His son is on the team, and he's traveled nationwide following this team. Story for you, the Perrongs.
When I came to RPI in 1965, I didn't know what hockey was. I had seen some black and white pictures on TV. But here, when it's the #1 sport and you're involved in sports, it just becomes a part of the life.
Don't let up! Jan Perrong is still seeing red. 34 years after receiving his master's in electrical engineering, Jan and his wife Christine are 2 of Rensselaer hockey's biggest fans.
It's sort of a badge of honor. We saw all the games last year, and so far we've seen all the games this year, and we plan our lives about leaving Boston area at noontime on Friday to get to wherever they're playing, or flying in for that matter, if that's the case.
But what if number 5 wore a different color jersey?
Any choice that I made, I know they would have backed me up because they've always been there just to support me.
That used to be the freshman dining hall.
Several universities courted John Perrong while he played at Mount St. Charles High School in Rhode Island. He chose Rensselaer.
I'd seen how well things have worked out for my father. So I thought, you know, I really like the atmosphere here with hockey being a prominent sport and a lot of support from the school and the fans and everything. And so I thought this would probably be the best environment.
An environment that fosters intellectual growth and recognizes the value of sports.
Sports just creates a discipline, a self-discipline in your life that just extends to every part of life. So it's just a very important part of growing up and being a success, and then later on in life. Although eventually you stop playing and you become a spectator. But hockey has brought John and I together.
There's obviously a small age difference between us. He's going bald and I'm not. But I mean, when there's times when it just doesn't seem like, I mean, maybe if I wasn't playing hockey, there wouldn't be anything for us to really relate to. But now when I come home for breaks or a weekend here and there, whenever, there's always something to talk about. And even if nothing else is right or something's been going wrong, there's always been hockey.
And now they're adding memories. Jan has his and proudly watches. He's down on the ice. His son John is carving out his own.
If you like that and you want something to remember young Perrong by, there's a card. Just like baseball cards, they're now available for RPI hockey players. I don't have the Perrong card, which is clearly our producer's fault, but here's Ron Pasco. You can get a whole set, I guess, for $10. You contact the Rensselaer Athletic Department. It's like baseball cards. They're kind of neat. Stats in the back, whole thing. That's it. A tie in Troy. UVM and Vermont tied at UVM is Vermont. UVM and RPI tie at 2. They tied at 4 apiece up in Burlington. These teams are evenly matched. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast tonight. We'll be back next year. Thanks for joining us tonight. Stay warm wherever you are, all over the United States and Puerto Rico. Thanks again. Enjoy it. Good night.